Hello everybody and welcome back to Odin's movie blog. I am the critic who is the cynic. How is everybody doing this evening? So sorry that I'm late, but I was just finishing up a movie with Freya. So Freya had never seen before in her life the movies Unbreakable or Split, and ever since the trailers for Glass started to come out, she was actually kind of intrigued by it, saying, "Oh, this actually looks kind of interesting." She liked the cast and everything, and I kind of told her a little bit about the background for it and how the two movies have this kind of odd connection, but I didn't really try to give too much away for her. And so we finished Unbreakable, and then we just finished Split, and she loved Split. I think Split was probably her favorite among the two, but I also haven't seen Split since the first time that I saw it, and I forgot just how freaking good a movie it is. And I am just even now more hyped seeing that I've seen them both back to back. So hyped to see Glass. I know that's been getting a lot of hate. I know it's been getting a lot of mixed reviews overall from critics and fans alike. But needless to say, I'm excited for it. But anyway, that was the reason why I was late. We wanted to finish the movie, and it was like the last 15 minutes, and I was like, I couldn't get myself away from it. It was so damn good. All right, Kathleen Kennedy is here. What's going on, Kathleen? Let's see. Donald Hudson, Asgardians assemble again. Yes, indeed. Hope y'all were doing well in the chat. I told Valkyrie I was going to be a little bit late, so hopefully that message got through to you guys. Mr. Peabody, what is going on? Greta, what is going on? Greta, Big Daddy Sunbeam is here as well. Unsplittable. Big Daddy Sunbeam says, "Hail Odin, what's up? What's up, Big Daddy?" Armando, what's going on? Armando, how is it going, good sir? All right, we got some peoples in here, and 36 people. I know, seriously, I'm surprised that y'all have stuck around. Again, so sorry again that I'm late. I usually am just a few minutes late, but there was, I think, a good enough reason to be a little bit late tonight. Alex Martinez says, "Odin, I think you will like Glass. Just don't have any expectations. It buries them." Nice, Alex. Glad to hear it. Blake Himlo, what's going on? Movies and comics, what's going on, bruv? Hyperin, hi, brother. Question, do you think Glass is already starting to be The Last Jedi of 2019? I would say no, seeing that The Last Jedi had high critic ratings, low audience score. This movie has very low critic score, very, very low critic score, and I would say reasonably high audience score. Cinema Blend, it got, it's not Cinema Blend, Cinema Score, it has a B, which is not terrible. And right now, the Rotten Tomatoes score, last time I checked, was around 78% of audiences liked it, when only 35% of critics liked it. So definitely not the same. And also, too, this movie is going to be very profitable. They only made it for $20 million, which means the entire budget, when you add in marketing, was only $30 million. And it's already made over $85 million worldwide, which means this film is already profitable. And it's only going to make more from here, especially once those numbers for today come in, because this was probably the big movie that people were going to see today, I would say. No Way Neophobic, what is going on? Hail Heavenly Father. Well, thank you very much, No Way. How is it going, bruv? Stephen Walton, that's a new name. Welcome, 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 welcome. Nico Blue 88, what's going on, bruv? Potterheads, what's up, Odin? Hope you're doing well. I am doing just fine. Again, just finished watching Split, and oh man, so damn good. Second time seeing it, and ooh, amazing. Patrick Duff says, Odin, what would you do if Mark Hamill or Harrison Ford joined the live stream? If it was actually them, I would be marking out, of course, and I would invite them onto the stream. But I have had fake profiles for Harrison Ford jump on before, so. Steph says, if you give us candy, then we will forgive the tardiness. You think you can get candy from me so easily, Tina? And Steph, no, 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 no. Tina and Steph cannot get candy, especially you, Steph. Tina's respectful of my candy stash. Steph, not so much. And no, Steph, you cannot get me that easily. Hyperman says, that's good. It saddens me the movie isn't received well, but I'm happy it's doing well at the box office. Yeah, it's definitely doing well at the box office for sure. Your boy Lethal, thank you for the $1.43 donation. Hello, everybody. I am OSB Blog. Hope you are doing well. Today, I'm going to explain how my Bumblebee review was wrong. Hope you were well made. I'll be listening in from work. Well, thank you for the donation, man. And no, my review for Bumblebee stands. It was not a well-written movie. I know that you were marking out because they had the OG Transformers designs, and that's awesome. I'm glad that you like that. But the writing sucked. And I think that a lot of people who love the film let the nostalgia factor kind of cloud their judgments, is what I would say, because the writing sucks. And when you look at the writer and you look at what she's written in the past, it makes absolute sense as to why the writing sucked. I can't defend it. Ishida Midi, what's going on? Odin versus Grace Randolph. Why would I fight Grace Randolph? Kathleen Kennedy, the Valkyrie don't obey Odin. In myth they serve Freya, says Kathleen Kennedy. Well, my Valkyrie are different, and my Valkyrie are so much better than those of myth and legend, because mine are real. 70B, it's on. Defend yourself. Mr. Peabody says, Odin the Valks got a lot of likes well before you got here. Well, thank you, Peabody. I appreciate for you for letting me know. And Valkyrie, thank you so much for being awesome, as you always tend to be. Oh, man, yes. John Cena's terrible. Blake Hemlow says, Odin, did you see the movie Blockers? I did not see the movie Blockers. I didn't want to because the trailers just were not compelling whatsoever, and no one was in the movie that I really wanted to see. So, no, I did not see Blockers. Have no intention ever in my life to go see it either. H. Wong, what's going on, bruv? It has been way too long. Welcome back to the chat. Hyperin says, true that objectively the script was but subjectively I enjoyed it in an entertaining perspective. And as I said before constantly, if you enjoyed the film, that is totally fine. Again, that is your subjective opinion. I mean, that is your subjective view. Again, you have every right to enjoy any film. It's the same reason why I love The Room, even though objectively speaking, it is one of the worst films ever made. It still brings joy to my life. So if Bumblebee, with its terribly written script, brings joy to you, great. Again, I feel happy and joy for you and for your own joy as well. But I'm glad that you're able to at least admit the fact that the script was not well written. Peabody says, Odin, be careful. Bumblebee, I don't want to break your glass. Yes, Peabody, I know. I saw your review. I know that you are definitely in the CD range when it comes to glass. But once again, too, it's a movie that I feel some people are going to like and some people will not. And I don't know anything about it, so please no spoilers, but something tells me that a lot of it has to do with how the film ends, and I feel like any end to any story is going to leave a divide and a split, so no pun intended there. Let's see. Edward Coleman says, I've never been more disgusted with the media and the ignorance of SJWs. This shows the divide is too big and everybody is hunkered down and their campus superpowers die from within. Edward Coleman, I'm going to get to that point, but thank you for your comment. I totally agree with you there. Bonnie Burgess, what's going on? How's it going? Tribute commentary. Say, Odin just got back from Disney World. Star Wars Land is going to be really impressive. I'm not surprised by that at all, Trippy. I mean, let's just be honest. They obviously put a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of effort into it, so it really does not surprise me all that much. Do you watch Doctor Who, says H. Wong? No, not anymore. Not anymore. Jagan says, happy MLK Day. I sat through the government shutdown complaints on television through the service. Oh, God. How dare you. Hypern says, Yems, who loved Unbreakable and Split, gave both a 9 and 7, but dang, he recently gave Glass a 1. Yeah, seriously, like, I feel like it is so split. I feel like the entire divide is just insane. Patrick Duff says, Odin, have you ever watched Ewoks The Battle for Endor? No, I've actually never seen that before. Soul Assassin. Odin, hello. You have a candy stash? Yes, I do. Mostly thanks to Frank the Tank and the Shawhane Winter Dog clan for sending me some awesome candies that I still have somehow, some way. Nico Blue says, Odin, you still haven't abandoned Rose Tika, replace her with Jar Jar. If I had a Jar Jar to replace her with, maybe, but no. Aussie Rose Tika is staying right there. Big Dice Samib says, is it bad, BB, bad in a good way like The Room or just plain boring bad? Oh, Bumblebee. Bumblebee's just terribly written. And that's the reason why I don't like it, is because I just don't think that you can I don't think a movie, for me at least, can be enjoyable if the writing is just not there. It's not painfully bad like The Room, where it's hilarious. It's just bad. It's just really poorly constructed, really poorly put together, and just doesn't grab you into the film. I was bored for a lot of the film when there wasn't action on screen because the writing was not up to snuff. Let's see. Super says, hey, what's up? Sorry I'm late. I'm doing some cleaning around the house and was watching some Towns Ends videos. Okay, very cool. Hyperin says, Odin, in your overall opinion of all time, what is the weakest finale you've ever experienced from a trilogy perspective? Ooh, man. So from a trilogy perspective, at least at this point in my life, I don't know if I've ever had an experience where a trilogy has let me down, at least at this point in time, because if normally a film series has to be really good in order for me to like stay on. Because also now we're living in the era of films going beyond 3 films, where there really aren't a whole lot of those very tight-knit trilogy films. So I really can't think of one right at this point in time. A lot to say. What's going on? I saw Split yesterday. I will see Glass tomorrow. I'm excited. I'm right there with you. Peabody says, no, Odin, no spoilers, and I know we all like very different things. We both respect that, but nothing wrong with a little fun banter. Not at all, Peabody. Again, I totally like the fun banter, and I totally agree with you there. Ivan Ortega's in the chat. We got a celebrity in the chat. What's up, Ivan? How's it going, bruv? Dude, Ivan, I love you, man. And if anyone ever gives you crap for anything, especially for, taking time to take care of you and take care of, your family and everything like that, which is obviously what is the most important thing in life, then I got your back every single damn time, man. I cannot believe that people are still giving you crap in your non-Star Wars videos for, oh my gosh, when are you going to finish it? Oh my gosh. It's like, guys, he's more than just that. He's a human person. He's a human being. We're all human. We all have other things going on besides this. And also, he's got many other projects besides the one on The Last Jedi. He cares a lot about it. If he wouldn't have watched the film like over 30 times. Like, how many times did he end up watching it, Ivan? Like, he would not have ended up watching that crappy movie those many times if he didn't care about the project and want to give you something awesome. So have some freaking patience and let the man do what he needs to do. Love you, Ivan. Let's see. JJ says, if Aquaman beats The Last Jedi, will you do a Truffle Shuffle live on air? Probably won't do a Truffle Shuffle live on air, but I do honestly think it's going to end up beating it because, as I said before, it actually, I looked this up today, it opens up in Japan in February. So Bumblebee is still going to be a question mark for what it ends at because it's going to make money continuously all the way up until February. And then I want to say February 8th, like the first weekend in February, it finally opens in Japan. And Japan is a market that could get upwards of $100 million towards the higher end. I suspect that with this movie, since it's going to be out for a little bit longer, and there's probably going to be a lot of people that are going to have pirated at this point, that it might be closer to the $50, $60, $70 million range. But still, that's an extra $50, $60, $70 million that it didn't have already, on top of the money it's going to continue to make here domestically and in foreign markets. So that's why I think by the end of its run, it's going to outpace The Last Jedi, but that is just my own thought on that. Alex Martinez says, Odin, I know this sounds like a dumb question, but who is your favorite MCU character, Thor or someone else? That's not a dumb question at all. Obviously, I love Thor. Obviously, I have a very strong connection to Thor, the Thor films, but I've always said this from the beginning. Even outside of the movies themselves, I've always liked Hulk. I've always been very much attached to that character overall. And I would have to say that if it wasn't Hulk, it would probably be Thor, especially Thor post Ragnarok, because Ragnarok Thor was awesome, hilarious, fantastic, and then of course Thor in Infinity War was just beautiful. Him coming into Wakanda, it was just like the best thing ever. It was so freaking awesome. Dallas says, Disney has to figure out how to make money off Star Wars somehow. The theme park might do it. It might do it, but also keep this in mind. They're raising the prices, so it's kind of like baked into the cake that they're going to make the money up somehow. But at the end of the day, like, theme parks are great and are a great source of income, but if they're not making money in the box office with the movies, that is going to be a major, major downer for them financially, especially since they haven't really been doing a good job financially, as the recent SEC findings have shown. No Way says, what is this story with this Rosemary Tic Tac? Please, can you throw her to the ground? No, not at all, because for those who don't know, for those who are new to the channel, so both of these figures, both the Aussie Rose Tika and also the Aussie Kylo Ren, both were sent by a wonderful patron and also an originator of the channel, someone who's been around for a very long time, Mr. Peabody, who's in the chat. And so he sent these all the way from Australia. Because I was saying, like, man, Ethan Van Skyver's got me wanting my own Rose Tico, and I can't find them anywhere. And so he decided just to send me these among also original 1977 figures as well. The reason why the 1977 figures aren't here is because they are on my shelf being protected, because my dogs can easily grab these toys if they wanted to, and I'd rather put these toys at risk than the ones from 1977. And so also it allows me to do the Aussie Rose Tika voice. So that is the story as to why Aussie Rose Tika is right here. But also she's one of the few characters that has the feet that can fit into this part of the mic stand. Kylo Ren can barely fit, so that's why he's kind of bent over here. But also I think it's a good image because I think Aussie Rose Tika is putting Kylo Ren in his place, and I think that's a good thing. So alrighty, I'm falling behind a little bit. Will Gentry? Ooh, that was the one I left on. Will Gentry. Where is Will Gentry? Oops, sounds like we got a fake Ivan Ortega, is why I imagine his comments have been deleted. Will Gentry says, bad trilogy ending The Matrix. That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm very bad at answering certain specific questions on my feet, but if y'all give me examples, I can give you my thoughts on it. I will agree with you there. That one, and then someone had just said it afterwards, Spider-Man 3, Dark Knight Rises. All three of those are bad. Out of all of them, though, I would say The Matrix has the worst ending, and the reason why is because I can watch Spider-Man 3 again and laugh. I can have fun with that. I can watch The Dark Knight Rises again, and there are certain parts of that film that I can really enjoy, especially laughing at Bane's voice, and what they decided to do with it. But I don't know if I'd ever want to watch not only the Matrix trilogy, but especially Matrix 3 ever again. So those are very good. Those are very, very good shouts. Let's see. Tina says, "Do you see Uncle Ethan's story about Soyega's Instagram showing bloody hands and saying he'd had a rough day on the set? People were guessing why Soyega had fake blood on his hands." Yeah, I'd imagine that maybe it's because Rose Tico dies in his arms, maybe, because that would obviously fit with the narrative that they've been trying to push by. So I think that's why he was trying to push the narrative that maybe we find out the fate of Rose Tico. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Someone's going to die. Someone's going to die. Patrick McDuff says, "What do you think will happen to Lucasfilm if Kathleen Kennedy and Ruin Johnson leaves and Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau take over?" Well, I don't think it's going to turn around right away. Like, I don't think anyone in their right mind would say, "Oh yeah, if you kick these two people out and put these two people in, boom, everything's fixed." Because then they're the ones that have to deal with the mess, because the mess is not going to go away. The mess is still going to be there. And so I think that they would be able to get things back on track, and I think that the fans would be more behind them than they would be of a Kathleen Kennedy or Rian Johnson. But with that being said, there's still obviously a lot of work that they would need to do. So it doesn't guarantee anything necessarily, but it definitely puts things in a much better position overall. So I would definitely be happier for that. Gideon Plains Walker, what's going on, Gideon? What Star Wars books have you read? Not many. Currently in book 3 of the Thrawn trilogy, and really loving it. Really liking it so far. But unfortunately, I can't really, I'm terrible at reading, so I have to do audiobooks, and I just have not had a lot of time for audiobooks because I have a lot of podcasts that I listen to. So I'm slowly but surely getting through book 3. Excuse me. 70B, thank you very much. He said the F word. Thank you for letting me know it was a fake Ivan Ortega. Thank you so much for that. In fact, for you letting me know that, I'm going to block that channel if I have that power. I'm pressing block, so hopefully that means he's blocked from the channel. Jacob75 says, "Did you see the MLK program?" No, what MLK program? I don't know what you're talking about. Bonnie, thank you very much for letting me know he's fake. Soul Assassin, Ivan's a saint for having to put up with The Last Jedi for 30 times. No, seriously. I forgot what his final count was, but it's a crap ton. Way more than anyone should ever subject themselves to having to see that film. So, Hyper says, "Did you see Hawkeye's new look of Ronin in a toy leak? He looks freaking badass." Well, just in the, if you haven't seen the Endgame trailer yet, we see a little glimpse of his Ronin character, and it already looks badass from that alone. So I've not seen the toy yet, but I imagine it's also badass too. Sith Lord Luke Skywalker's in the chat. What's going on, Sith Lord? Go check him out on Twitter. He's a cool guy. Jenkins75, the real Captain Marvel comes out April 5th, 2019, aka Shazam. And that's what's interesting too, is because not only is, and this was getting back to kind of the video I did today about Captain Marvel is not only having to come out a little more than a month. So at this point, it's actually a little more than a month, not exactly a month, so maybe about a month and a half before Endgame, which I think is really tight. And even now, the shills are starting to say, "Oh, I think it's a little too soon. It's going to affect things." Well, no duh. But also, too, exactly a month, almost to the day after it comes out, Shazam comes out. And I think Shazam is going to do decent box office. Not amazing. I don't think it's going to reach Aquaman levels of $1 billion, but it's definitely going to be successful. Again, comedies like that tend not to do nearly as well as the bigger action films, at least from my experience. So, let's see what we got here. No way. Neophobic says, "Okay, that's accepted. I closed my left eye or I cannot see it." Blake Hamlow says, "My business is starting up soon, which is going to be making TV shows and movies, etc. They'll be focusing on the story, characters, and whatnot." That's awesome, Blake. Glad to hear it. Super says, "Wait, they're raising Disney park prices. What are they going to charge? $5K instead of $4? $20 for a water bottle instead of $10? Please explain." Yeah, just from what I've heard from channels like Geeks and Gamers, but also just from recent reports, is that I think it's just the park admission prices are going up when, whatever the park is that has, because obviously, that Disney's made up of several parks, whatever park that the Star Wars part is going to be attached to, those prices apparently are going to be going up to cover for the cost of it, and probably too because they want to make a crap ton of money, and they know that there are going to be people who are going to spend that kind of money to go check it out. So, especially since I've been hearing nothing but great things about it. Harman says, "Alert! We have a full lot of orcs and trolls." Fake Ortega in the chat. Mayday, mayday. Yeah, I know that we had that with Kathleen Kennedy earlier, but at the end of the day, I got Valkyrie, who will take care of it, and they will smite the trolls. Stephen Walton, good point. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Will Gentry, Odin, there is a YouTube video about the Matrix trilogy that actually gives a different perspective on it and say that it's Smith who is the one, not Neo. It made me watch the trilogy again in a new light. If I find it, I'll send it to you. Well, thank you. Well, I appreciate that. I just don't see how that works, seeing that Mr. Smith is a computer program. Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me, because the one, to me, should be a human consciousness. So it's a good theory, and I'm sure it's a new way of looking at the films, and maybe you can appreciate the films a little bit more, but it just doesn't make sense from a, story perspective. But then again, number 3 doesn't make much sense either. Peabody says, Odin needs a fundraiser for a giant porg. Oh my god, that giant porg. Tina says, yeah, we've had several, including the Kathleen Kennedy one, who made a racist comment. Good god. These people are idiots. 70B says, was the one who caught the fake Ivan. Thank you. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Alex Martinez, it's great to have a John Wick 3 trailer and be excited about that and Shazam instead of Captain Marvel. I agree. Guys, if you have not checked out not just the Shazam trailer, the new trailer, which is great, if you've not seen the John Wick 3 trailer, one, if you haven't seen John Wick 1 or 2, what are you doing? Go watch it right now. They're the two best action films of recent memory, and probably going to be one of my favorite new trilogies once the third one comes out. But also, the trailer is awesome. It's badass. Super says... Ooh, chat jumped on me again. Lord. Super says, oh no, Hawkeye is Ronin now. In the comics, as far as I know, that happened after Marvel gave the Hawkeye mantle to a woman. Nope, Ronin is still a dude, and from what we can tell, Hawkeye is not becoming a woman either. So, but who knows at this point? Hyperin says, do you think the new Planet of the Apes franchise gets too much hate? I understand CGI isn't the best to people, but I enjoyed the storyline. I loved it. I own all three. I think the new Planet of the Apes is fantastic. In fact, to me, that's one of the best uses of CGI. If you want to talk about good CGI, Planet of the Apes, the new trilogy, the Caesar trilogy is awesome. It is fantastic. Some of the best CGI work ever. Some of the best motion capture ever. I was saying, and you can ask Greta about this too, I was arguing that I would not be mad if Andy Serkis got nominated for Best Actor or Best Supporting Actor for his motion capture work, because he revolutionized motion capture, and it is his performance that you are seeing on screen. It is not just a digital image. Like, they show you the behind the scenes stuff, and the faces that he's making, the performance that he's giving is being told very well and very powerfully in that animated way, like through the CGI. And the CGI is also really, really good too. So I love it. I think it's great. Let's see. Soul Assassin left me the last comments before it jumped on me. Soul Assassin says, oh, never been to Disney World. I'd rather go to Fiesta, Texas with my Coke discount. Fiesta, Texas is a great park. If you want to go and ride roller coasters, Six Flags is the way to go. Disney does not really have the best coasters in the world. Like, yeah, there's a couple, but it's not worth spending that much money for. If you want coasters, Six Flags, definitely a great one to go to. And yeah, I'm right there with you. Repalancia, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Adding a splash of color to the chat. Disney seems to like to redo its previous movies. I wonder how successful that will be, as people are getting tired with reboots. And that's the reason why I don't think Lion King is going to do bonkers at the box office. I honestly, this early, with nothing else but a hunch, I don't think it's going to do as well as they think it's going to do. And I think it's going to be because of, if you want to talk about fatigue, reboot fatigue, I think, is going to become a very real thing, especially when movies are remade for no reason whatsoever. Lion King reboot, no reason whatsoever. Let's just go back a couple years. Cinderella reboot, I liked it, but again, no reason. Beauty and the Beast, hated it, especially no good reason to do that movie. Good God, yeah, I think they are biting themselves in the ass by allowing them to focus less on original content and more on just rebooting their old franchises, thinking, oh man, we're going to make money and bank off of this, but audiences are getting smarter. And audiences are starting to see through their crap, and I think that it's going to end up hurting them more so than not. Not everything Disney makes is going to make money. Solo lost $200 million. The three of the biggest box office bombs of 2018 were Disney movies. Just think about that for a second. Rogue One, what's going on, bruv? Stephanie B says, sir, it was Bonnie. Thank you, Bonnie. Appreciate it. Hyperpin, put John Wick in the Raid movies, and he'd kill them all. Oh my God, dude. Could you imagine if there was a crossover between the Raid universe and John Wick? Oh, that would be amazing. That'd be fantastic. Patrick Duff says, which Spider-Man is your favorite? Sam Raimi Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, or Homecoming Spider-Man? Which version of Spider-Man? I would say Tom Holland Spider-Man. No question in my mind, because he fits the teenage character very, very well. I think the other two were way too old to play the character. And actually, to be honest, I would actually put the Amazing Spider-Man over the other one, because I just think he fit the character a little bit more. Just a little bit more. And also, he's a better actor. So, let's see. Tina says, yeah, seeing Keanu riding a horse and gunning people down. When do tickets go on sale? No, seriously. And then they're on bikes with katanas. Oh my God, bikes and katanas. How can you get better than that? Greta says, Andy Serkis needs an Oscar. Yeah, seriously, like, even if it's just an honorary Oscar, the fact that you have people like Kathleen Kennedy who are getting Oscars, but Andy Serkis hasn't even been nominated for one at least at this point is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Dova Kid, what's going on, Dova Kid? The original Planet of the Apes was good for its time. I haven't seen the originals. Have never really had a desire to see it. I'm sure the practical effects are great, but it just doesn't seem like my cup of tea. The new ones, though, are fantastic. They're so good. Gideon says, and now I have the older Six Flags commercial playing on my head. Thank you, Odin. You're welcome. Dun, 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 dun. With the old man. Oh, man, I love those commercials. Blake Hamlow, Disney ran out of the ideas when they need to hire new writers with fresh ideas. That is true. Hyperin says, Odin, it's like making a live-action version of Spirited Away. It ruins the beauty of the animation. You're exactly right. I mean, the animation is beautiful and timeless for a reason. If you try and remake it to make a quick buck for no real purpose whatsoever, then I'm sorry, I'm not going to support you. Super says, oh, Odin, did you hear they confirmed it? Disney is planning a reboot of Hunchback to set for release in 2020. I personally am not too excited for you. No, I mentioned that very reboot in one of my videos over the last couple weeks because I was reacting to that news directly because I love Hunchback. Hunchback is one of my all-time favorite animated films. There are two animated Disney films that are at the top of my list, and it's Hunchback and Hercules. And the reason why is because those are my two favorite Disney scores ever. Again, it doesn't mean I don't like the other ones, but those are my top favorite. And so the fact that they're remaking arguably my favorite movie pisses me off because the movie originally is fine. It is perfect. And all they're going to do now is say, oh, well, now we can cast the right actors who are the right people and the right background. And it's going to be, oh, man, now we can do a CGI Quasimodo. It's going to be so cool. And I'm like, no, stop it. Just stop it. Leave it as a cartoon and start coming up with your own original content. Because even all of the Disney animated movies that I love are all based on previous content anyway. So seriously. It's a Trap Productions says, greetings, my lord, greasing denizens of Asgard. How's it going, Potterheads? Odin, have you seen the Prodigy trailer? It looks creepy as hell. Love the horror genre, but good horror movies are few and far between. I have not because I'm not a big horror fan, to be honest. Will Gentry, Odin, they should make a new category just for Andy Serkis. I agree. He's that damn good. Hyper says, speaking of katanas, one time Miyazaki sent Princess Mononoke to Harvey Weinstein. However, he was also sent a katana with a note saying, no cuts. Weinstein wanted to ruin it once. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Soul Assassin, the old dancing man from the commercials, is amazing and a better dancer than me. Oh, my God. I love that guy. I love that dude. I love that dude. Super says, what even is the point of giving producers Oscars? Most of them just fund the movies with little creative input and make decisions based on the deals that they make. And Super, I'm glad that you bring that up because someone wrote an article recently that said, should we change the category to Best Producers Oscar instead of Best Picture? And I was thinking about it for a second and I thought, you know what? That's actually a really good point because all these producers, the ones that end up winning are the ones that are able to politic and promote their film the best. So it's not even that they're choosing the best film, it's that they're choosing a movie that they were essentially pushed to vote for. So I actually would not mind them saying, all right, yeah, we're going to do a Best Producers Award, and then we'll have a Best Picture Award, and there could be no campaigning or anything like that. That'd be fun. That could be cool. But they're not going to do that because why would they? Dova Kid says, Odin, I've always disliked Disney because they always watered down a lot of grim fairy tales. I agree. Mr. Trap says, don't worry, my lord, I will continue to make original animated content. Yes, damn right. Go check out the It's a Trap Productions channel. He is awesome. Jacob says, I watched Hunchback of Notre Dame once, and it was great. I felt sad, and what is sad in the main topic you're going to discuss is the same topic the message of the movie gave. Don't judge someone. No, you're exactly right, and that's why it's wonderful. But anyway, guys, so let me go ahead and shout out my patrons real quick. A Great Jedi, Adam Shawhan, Dave Bob, Delete System 32, Donald Hudson, Edward Coleman, Enrique Evangelista, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Wiener Dog Clan, Greta Zenner, Harold Francis, The Hunka Chunka, Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, It's a Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jeffrey Toone, Laura Story, Matthew Kadish, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin, Outpost Dyer, Perpetual Punster, Proper Jeremy, The DJD Show, Those Two Ball Guys, Tina B, and Wolfgang Lounge. Thank you very much for being patrons. You are all amazing and beautiful people. Super says, example, Bradley Cooper is listed as producer on the new Joker movie conveniently after the director of that film produced A Star is Born. Yep, they all pat each other on the back. That's pretty much all that it is. Hybrid says, Odin, I don't mean to make assumptions, but I'm not going to be surprised if Amazon ends up ruining Tolkien's Legendarium like Disney did the ruined Star Wars. I don't think you're too off. Hybrid, I don't think that that's a terrible thing to say because Amazon can really do damage to the Lord of the Rings universe. I mean, honestly, any company or corporation that gets its hands on a beloved property can obviously do a lot of damage. Now, I trust Amazon at this point in time, a bit more than Disney, because at least Amazon hasn't really shown itself to take previous content and ruin it. At least none examples that I can think of. So once it does that, I mean, Lord of the Rings might be the first time it does it, but until that happens, I really am not going to be able to say one thing or the other. But guys, getting to the main topic, again, I'm sure some of you have clicked on this stream because you saw it in the title. And that is all this nonsense that is going on in the media with everything that happened with this Covington Catholic kid over at the March for Life this past weekend. So if you don't know what's going on with that, basically a video came out that seemed to indicate that this boy had went up to a Native American and was looking at him and laughing at him, and all of his friends were mocking him and ganging up on him. And that was the media, that the CNNs and the Philip DeFrancos and the Chris Evans and all the big Hollywood elites and all the big Hollywood media, because let's be honest, they're just Hollywood media. They're just trying to put on a good face to get views and to get ratings, and they don't care about the truth. And that's all that they were doing. They were just putting the story out there, perpetuating the lie, and then finally someone said, hey, wait a minute, we're seeing something different, because we now have the entire video, we now have all of the evidence, and all the evidence is indicating that that is not actually what happened. What actually happened is that this group of kids, teenagers, were going to the March for Life, were hanging out at the Lincoln Memorial, having a good time, doing their school cheers randomly, and just, basically it looked like they were meeting back up to eventually go off, because you could see there, at one point, you could see their chaperones trying to kind of corral them together. Then all of a sudden, this group of people, and it looked like there were different groups. There was a Native American group. There was also, I think they call themselves Black Muslims or something like that. It was some kind of a group. It was some kind of a very racist group, I would say it that much, because they were calling kids in that crowd, the N-word, crackers, and a plethora of other things. So you have all of this going on, and then one of the Native Americans with the drum decides just to walk right straight into the crowd of kids, of students, which, let me just say first off and foremost, if I'm going to criticize anyone, it's probably going to be, sorry guys, I'm going to miss some chats because I just need to go off on this tangent. You know what, if I had to blame anyone for this, it would actually probably be the chaperones, because the chaperones should have stepped in and said, no, we don't know who the hell you are, get away from our kids. Get the hell away from our kids, go take this somewhere else. But of course, that probably would have been turned into something too, even though they were doing their job. So anyway, what you have here is this Native American man going into the crowd with beating his drum, banging the drum as he's going into the crowd of kids. The kids start to react because the man is singing along with beating the drum, and so they start to react to it, because guess what? They're kids. They're teenagers. So they start to sing along with him. They start to dance to the drum. They start to do tons of other stuff. Not yelling anything racist, not doing anything like that, just having fun, being teenagers. Again, teenagers are idiots. And then all of a sudden, at one point in time, at some point, he gets in the middle of the group, and there's the kid that everyone has been attacking, who was just standing there, and of course, a bunch of the kids have the Make America Great Again hats, which is why the whole reason why the media is like, oh my God, it's a bunch of Trump-loving people, oh my God, they're a bunch of white supremacist racists, and oh my God, the future of our country is so terrible, because they laughed at that man. They laughed at that strange man beating their drum in their faces, and they are just so, oh my God, they are so racist. They are so racist for laughing at him and mocking his culture, even though that he went into that group banging his drum in their faces. How dare they mock him for that? So you have the CNNs and all these liberal elite Hollywood types mocking these kids. And now these kids, their lives have been threatened. Their parents have been threatened. They've been doxxed. Their personal information has been put out there. The kids apparently are also going to are being considered for expulsion. Now that might be just a rumor, but what we do know is that their information has been leaked. So all of this nonsense is going on. And what does the media do? They either, one, continue to pretend like the story is true when actually it's not. Two, they retract the story, they take it down off their sites, but then they don't post let's explain what actually happened. Or three, they say, we were wrong about the initial report, but what we said originally still stands, and that's that we have a huge white supremacist problem in this country, and Trump is a racist, and they were still wearing the Make America Great Again hats, and if you wear that hat and you happen to be white, you are this, ipso facto, you are a racist. And it's this nonsense. If anyone wants to know why Donald Trump got elected as president of the United States, it's because of these idiots. It's because of these morons in the media who take any little thing that happens, any little thing that is said, and decide to spin it, create it, fluff it up real nice, put it out there. But what they're actually doing is they're taking a turd. They're taking a nice, huge turd and, polishing it up, putting some spray paint on it, maybe some glitter spray on it, and then they're showing it to the American people and they say, oh, look, you see? Oh my gosh, look, we made it so nice for you guys so that way you could take it. Don't worry that it's crap. Don't worry, that's a pile of crap, but oh my gosh, take this. And now the kids' lives are in jeopardy because there's been death threats, of course, against them. Their whole lives have been upturned. Their address has been posted. And yet you have a media now that has been going after these kids. These are freaking kids. These are 16-year-old kids that they are going after, calling racist, trying to essentially ruin their lives. And the media has been complicit in it. They've been complicit. Even though they might have to be the ones that are doxing them and putting their personal information out there, it's because of them running with the story before they had all the facts, which is what the mainstream media does nowadays. They don't care about the facts. They care about the ratings. And what sells more? White kid wearing MAGA hat, racist to Native American, or Native American walks into a crowd of kids just trying to have a good time at the Lincoln Memorial. What do you think sells better? Oh wait, that's right, the one that's not true and the one that's more sensational. That's all they care about. All the people in the media care about is selling you a story. All the people in the media care about is getting you to watch them. So I can say this right now to anyone out there that still watches the CNNs, the Fox News, MSNBCs, all of them. They're all a part of it. Even if you might agree with them politically on certain things, they're all a part of it because all they care about is getting your eyeballs on their screen. If you still watch them, stop. Or at least consider stopping, especially after the events of the last 24 hours. Because hopefully now you can understand and you can see all these idiots, all these troglodytes, all these asshats care about is getting your eyeballs on their screen so they can spin their web, spin their narrative, spin their stories, and not give you a dime of the truth. That is what's going on here. Now, I know I've gone on a tangent here, but I thought it was so important for us to talk about this because I knew that if I made a video, if I dedicated a video to this topic on this channel, I know that some people are going to say, you know what does this have to do with movies? What does that have to do with anything else? So I wanted to do this as a video on another channel, but also I wanted to talk about it in the live stream because the live streams usually take life on their own. You know, we talk about plenty of things other than movies here on the live streams. So I wanted to just get that out there because I thought it was important. Always verify. Always verify your facts. Especially when you putting out a tweet or a news story saying these kids are racist, and then you might retract it later on. The fact is that millions of people have now seen that story and will continue to believe it. It's just like the people in the newspapers where they put out a story, but then they post a retraction because they got something wrong. But the retraction is not until page like 70, and people don't read retractions. And they think, oh, well, we did our due diligence, and it's wrong. And I honestly think legal action needs to be taken not only against the media that covered the story, because to me it's just pure negligence, and I think harassment at this point because of everything that's going on with the family. But also too that if there is any case being brought up against these kids, that we stand up for them, because at the end of the day, all it was a group of teenagers being approached, not them approaching anyone else, them being approached by someone they didn't know who the hell this person was. But the person just happened to be Native American, and they happened to be wearing Donald Trump hats, and automatically, all you need is that picture right there, and the narrative sets itself. White supremacy is a problem. White supremacy is an epidemic in this country, and it's all Donald Trump's fault. White supremacy has existed before, now, and probably forever. You can never weed out a terrible thing altogether because there's always going to be at least one crazy person that believes something. And yet, nowadays, we equate stupid things. And the media is complicit in that. But anyway, guys, so I know that the chat's probably backed up to hell right now, so I'm not, basically, oh man, sorry, I need to take a break my voice is tired after that. But I'm pissed, guys. I really am. So, guys, if you left a comment at any point during that time, please post it again. I will do the very best that I can to get to get to your comments. But all that it needed to be said. It needed to be said, and I'm just so sick and tired of this false narrative that's being pushed out there that isn't true, isn't based on any truth whatsoever. It absolutely disgusts me. It really does. Anyway, so Hyperin says, my brother, what is the best resourceful news source that doesn't involve political fake news? I would say the internet, and I say that cautiously because obviously the internet can be skewed one way or the other. But the reason why I say the internet is because you then can easily verify one way or the other if a stories are true. Because if someone claims something, it takes a quick Google search to see countless articles saying one way or the other. And then from there, you can make up your own mind. You can say, what are the facts? What's in common? What are the actual facts? What is not a political point? What is not something that is just an opinion? What is an actual political point? And you can take that, and then you can obviously take that information. Now, one of the sites that I use, and I'm not going to try and pretend like it's not conservative leaning, but one of the sites that I use is Drudge Report. But the reason why is because they post direct links to any site, CSNBC, MSNBC, CNN. It doesn't matter. They don't just post Fox News or alt-right sources. They post sources from everything. And so if there's a headline going on right now, I open the article, I see where it's from, and then I read it, and I digest it, and I try and find alternate sources. So basically, it's come to the point now where, unfortunately, we have to work to find out what is true. We have to work our asses off just to find out what is actually news and what is fake. And it's sad. It's sad that we can't just have one source to go to. And unfortunately, there really isn't. There might be some people that are better than others, but at the end of the day, unfortunately, we live in an age where there's no person that's completely free from any biases whatsoever. So that's one of the sites that I use. There's other sites too. I forget the name of it. There's one site, though, that you can actually flip a button, and it gives you a blue article or a red article. And so literally it gives you the same story from different perspectives. So those sites that do that, I think, are the very best, but always confirm. It's the same reason why anytime that there's someone who says, like, rest in peace so-and-so, I never take them at their word. I do my own research. I try and find a verifiable source. And then from then I say, okay, rest in peace this person. Because now the news is being treated the same way as the tabloids are. There's almost no difference between the two. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, Sheng Long, thank you very much, man, for the $50 super chat. I really appreciate it. And he says, make America great again. Yeah, apparently me saying those words just automatically makes me a racist. Those are words? And unless they're followed by some kind of racial epithet, I don't understand why we can't just... So many people have this Trump derangement syndrome, where every time they hear his name or Make America Great Again or anything like that, they go crazy. They go insane. And people on the left especially. Go ahead and look at some of the Twitters that have been happening ever since this whole Covington Catholic stuff's been going on. There have been people who've been calling for violence against this 16, 17-year-old kid. There was one liberal outlet. It was an individual who has a verified check mark on Twitter, who said, have you ever seen a more punchable face? Now, of course, everyone in that stream were like saying, oh yeah, and they were posting his face, the man that said it. But the fact that we have people out there that are threatening violence against kids, freaking kids, is absolutely disgusting and ridiculous. Alex Martinez says, your rants are great. Well, thank you, Alex Martinez. I really do appreciate that. Brian Dorchak, what's going on, dude? All right, the chat's jumping all over the place, so again, sorry guys if I missed your comment. Please post it again if you want me to get to it. Filthy Lethal, thank you very much for your donation. Proper Jeremy doesn't know how to spank booty correctly. Proper Jeremy can't do a lot of things correctly. Proper Jeremy is a failure. Bishop Peabody says, Odin, I know what you mean. I work hard every day to prove that Australia is real. Oh, Peabody, I love you, man. Greta says, I try not to look at the news articles anymore. It's just anger and sadness. I agree, Greta. And a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people would rather just not look at any news at all. I know my wife, for example, never knows what's going on because she's sick of it. She's sick of always having to hear about this stupid nonsense because everything has become politicized. It's awful. Like when, for example, when a natural disaster happens, instead of us saying thoughts and prayers to the victims, now it's global warming. Or, it's all Trump's fault. And that's the headline. And it's like, no. This tragedy just happened. And now you're trying to blame something that you have really no verifiable proof is the cause of this specific event. And yet you're trying to use it as a political vehicle, essentially, to push your narrative forward. It's disgusting. Like, just say it how it is, man. Don't try and use tragedy. And again, this goes back to a point that was made during the last administration, was never let a tragedy go to waste. Because that is the playbook going on right now in politics. If there's a tragedy, they will use it. Take any school shooting, for example. Oh, this is terrible. We need gun control now. Wait a minute. A tragedy just happened. Can't we actually just try and take care of the people that just got, attacked? Whose fathers just lost sons and daughters? Oh no, we need to talk about and use it as a political vehicle instead, and then very quickly, the actual event gets lost and gets used as a political point rather than, an actual event that happened. It's disgusting. It just disgusts me that we live in a world like this today. It really does. Hamletshire89 says, whatever happened to just saying, this is bad behavior, I don't support it. No matter what side you're on, I feel like there are no adults left. I agree. I absolutely agree. There are no adults left. And the media are some of the worst culprits of this. Will Gentry says, Tim Pool is a very respectable source. He's left-wing, but he's very much balanced in his coverage. He has a video explaining all of this story in a fair and neutral way. I know that I'm following somebody on Twitter now because of someone's recommendation. And it might even be that guy. And he was, again, I think I was even retweeting him because I've been following this Covington Catholic story just nonstop because I'm just so disturbed by this. As someone who teaches at the high school level, to see high school kids who are the same age as the ones that I teach getting doxxed, getting called racist, getting called every matter of names and their lives being threatened, it not only pisses me off, but it also just disturbs me. It truly disturbs me. But it's so interesting how the left will try and say, oh my gosh, but it's the racist and the toxic white masculinity. That's the problem. Excuse me. Who are the ones that are calling for violence? Who are using someone's personal information as a weapon to take somebody down because they didn't do anything wrong, but they happen to be a white male wearing a Trump hat. That was their crime, ladies and gentlemen. They were students. They were white students, mostly white students, wearing Trump hats. Oh my God, call the cops. They committed one of the worst crimes in the world. That was essentially their crime, because even though all this evidence has come out showing that they didn't do anything wrong, people still won't let it go. People will still say, oh, but toxic masculinity and toxic white masculinity and white privilege is still a problem. Excuse me, we just proved that everything that you've been saying and spinning to us over the last 24 hours is wrong, is not true. And you're going to stick by that narrative? It's disgusting. It is totally disgusting. Oh, man, oh, man. Whew, I am just... I'm off the rails tonight, boys and girls. Patrick Duff says, Odin, do you think all this NPC drama will end at some point in the future? Not at the rate we're going, man. At the rate this is going, not at all. And it's sad. The only way that anything can change is if we make it change. And that's why I say constantly before, that's why I don't vote for, not to get on my high horse or my soapbox for a second. That's why I don't vote for Republicans or Democrats as far as like major tickets are concerned. I try and find somebody who is someone I can actually vote for and back. I don't care if there's a 0.7% chance that they're going to win. As long as I'm voting for someone that I can believe in, that I don't mind voting for, that's the person I'm going for. Like, I tell people this all the time, because it's so funny because I get attacked all the time in my comments saying, oh, well, you're just a Trump supporter. Actually, I voted for Evan McMullin because he was the only person on the ticket that I actually agreed with a lot of what they were saying. Like, seriously, I put on paper and said, who do I line up with the most? Okay, Evan McMullin, so I will go ahead and vote for Evan McMullin. And it's so funny to hear all the people saying, oh, you're just a Trump supporter. You're just a Trump supporter. I don't have a MAGA hat. I kind of want to get one now because, obviously, guys, Frey would never allow it. Frey would be very mad at me if I started to do that. But seriously, like, part of me wants to get one just to make people mad, just to piss people off, because it's gotten to the point now where just a hat with words on it makes people act insane. But yeah, people call me Trump supporter. It's like, I didn't vote for him. I support all the good things he's doing, but I also criticize all the bad thing he's doing because guess what? No president is God. No president is perfect. And therefore, there are good things. For example, there are some good things. I didn't like the guy. I thought the guy was a pompous ass. But there are some good things that Obama did. And I can admit that. There's also a lot of terrible things that he did too. Trump. There's some good things that he's done. There's some bad things that he's done. He's got one of the worst past of any person in the history of people. But at the end of the day, I'm going to look at the whole person. Oh, man, oh, man. Edward Coleman, though, says, have you ever thought about the hypocrisy kid with Trump hat needs to be put in a wood chipper, child murdered by a classmate, now becomes an expert on gun laws? I know, seriously. Star Wars. Yes, Odin going off is great. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Prober Jeremy, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. DeFranco apologized and explained everything in his latest video. Doesn't excuse initial reaction. When I consensually spank booty, I do it properly. Oh, God, Proper Jeremy. Get out of here. You are a failure. Yeah, DeFranco, I'm done. I remember I used to watch, I haven't watched DeFranco in a very long time. I used to watch DeFranco all the time. When YouTube was something new, DeFranco was one of the biggest channels, one of the startup channels on YouTube. And I remember loving his stuff. He used to be just very common sense, straightforward. And then, of course, he got really big. He got a huge empire, a huge YouTube media empire. And then all of a sudden now he is just throwing out videos before verifying the facts. So yeah, he can apologize until he's blue in the face, but I'm never going to trust him again because he's shown himself just to be a typical SJW elitist. Like, let's just be honest here. Hamlet Shirt says, I have enough trouble trying to keep my own affairs above water. I'm not morally superior and don't have everything figured out. How can anybody say they do? Exactly right. No one's perfect. No one is perfect. I am far from perfect. No one on this channel is perfect. No one even comes close to perfection. But at least we can admit it. At least we can recognize the imperfections in ourselves. Because at least we are just, that much further on than these idiots. Hybrid says, Thanos did nothing wrong. Oh, God. Tina says, one more time, the black Muslims were organized by Elijah Muhammad. Malcolm X once belonged to them, left, and they might have been responsible for his assassination. That's why I love Tina. Tina knows so much about history, not just of movies, but history in general. And guys, let's go ahead and get some support in the chat. Tina should write a book. Tina's stories are amazing. She has so much knowledge about so many different things. I want her to write a book. She might have to use a pseudonym because she knows a lot of things, but my God, I want her to write a book. Everybody, let's get hashtag Tina write that book going in the chat because she really should. Jay75 says, Odin, I know it hurts you a lot because you teach at an all-male Catholic school. I expected you to be mad. I'm sure you can imagine it happening to your students. This is completely distasteful. Hashtag crap Sienna. No, exactly right. Because I could see my own guys there. Like, in fact, I was actually looking for my guys. I didn't realize that it was all from one school. But I know that I had some guys who I've taught who were up there. It wasn't a whole lot of guys, but I was like, I really hope that they're not there right now because I don't want their names getting dragged through the mud by the CNNs and just the Voxes and the Twitterverse and everything. So I'm really glad that they weren't a part of it, but it's just absolutely insane and so upsetting. Trap says, our Lord Odin is hot with fire. Yes, indeed. Alex Martinez is a classic move out of the leftist NBC playbook. Double down and deny, deny, deny. Yep. And then they'll say, oh, we weren't calling for violence. Oh, really? Really? Blake Hamlet says, Season 1, Episode 1 of my animated series is going to be amazing because I'm working so hard at storyboard. Glad to hear it, man. Star Wars says, love your fire. Well, thank you. Super says, they aren't going to give it up because it harms their agenda. The media and radical left are more than willing to sacrifice a few kids guilty of wrong thing for them to stay right. No, exactly. They don't care. In the words of John Boyega, we don't care. That's the media. The media is like that. We don't care. Oh, we ruined a kid's life. Well, he's still a Trump supporter. He was still a white toxic male wearing his MAGA hat. So it's good on. And you know what? Maybe this is the lesson that he needs. That's their justification. Like, there are people that are actually saying something to that effect right now, who are saying that they still double down on the original intent. They'll say, oh, we'll clarify the facts, but our original intent is true because those were 16-year-olds wearing Trump hats, and therefore that's a problem. No, you're the problem. You are the problem in this country. Super got you that one. Zach Gregg, the ultimate punk rocker. Well, thank you, Zach. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Steph, is that a clapping? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Tina says, Clownfish TV says they get accused all the time of being alt-right Nazi Trump supporters. They're libertarians who don't want entertainment destroyed. I mean, yeah. Seriously, anyone that is not far left is now considered alt-right. No. Alt-right is a specific group of people. They are people who are actually like white supremacist types who believe in a master race. They're essentially Nazis. That's a specific group of people. Not a very large group either. Let's just be honest here. So, let's not throw everybody in. Now moderates and libertarians and former Democrats, they're all now considered to be alt-right. And that's the problem that we have in this country right now, is that we have this political agenda, this far, far, far crazy left agenda that is just destroying everything. Ryan Geiger, thank you very much for joining. Welcome to the channel. Rogue Baron says, I have a MAGA pullover hat and an attachable woolen beard with it. 10 out of 10. Nice, Rogue Baron. That is awesome. Stephen Walton says, only Odin is a god. Well, thank you. There is only, but in the words of Captain America, ma'am, there's only one god. Alex Martinez says, so Odin, when I see the mass media report on anything, I fact check. Even then, I'm discouraged about, still even to continue to read and watch the news. No, seriously, it's sad because now you can't watch anything without fact checking it yourself. And that's why I say, don't watch any of the TV stuff. The TV stuff is nonsense. Again, it's a 24-hour news cycle. They want you to have your eyes on the screen as often as possible. Again, I've been guilty of watching them in the past. I will not deny that in 2016 I was watching one of those networks to see the election returns, and unfortunately the reason why is because it's one of the best ways to find out when states get called the earliest, and it's because of just the political historian in me, where I love elections. I think elections are fun. I think elections are exciting. So that is obviously a time when I myself have failed to live up to what I think that we should start to do, and I know that I'm not perfect. So I'm not trying to be like, oh, I get all of my news and I figure it out for myself. So, I'm not perfect. But it doesn't make anything that I said any less true. Steven Wilson, only Odin. Okay, got that one. All right, it's jumping on me. Sorry, guys. Chat jumped on me, so if I missed your comment, please post it again. Patrick Maduff says, Odin, have you gotten any better at Fortnite? Haven't played it in a very long time. Yivo, what's going on? I don't understand the outrage because all I saw them doing was standing there. Was there more footage I missed? No. You missed nothing. You missed absolutely nothing. What happened was this Native American man, went into the crowd of kids. A stranger somehow got in the middle of a crowd of kids, banging his drum in their faces, and they got a clip of one of the students just staring him in the face, smiling and smirking, because guess what? He's a 16-year-old and uncomfortable because he's being filmed and a grown man is beating a drum in his face. Do you remember what it was like to be 16? Or a teenager, or a kid? Oh my God. But yeah, smirking is now a crime, ladies and gentlemen. Eric Coleman, how evil do you have to be to put children's addresses out on the internet? People are blinded by politics. They seem to suffer from the same mindset as a cult. I agree with you. You have to be a disturbed individual to do that. No question in my mind. Super says, to the media, well, geniuses, have you ever considered that your failure to uphold your duty as the fourth estate is part of the reason those kids were wearing the MAGA hat in the first place? You shaped how we think. Boom. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Blake Hemlow, I need to get a haircut soon before I look like Ringo Starr. There's nothing wrong with looking like Ringo Starr. Jagan says, the Native American thought they knew his culture by banging his drum on his face. I have a lot of questions about those black Hebrews act holier than thou and think they keep the Ten Commandments. Thank you. It was the black Hebrews that were shouting racist epithets and several non-holy things. As people who were supposed to be men of God, they were not acting like men of God in any sense. Star Wars says, thanks, Stephanie. Live stream was awesome. Odin is on fire. No problem. Thank you very much, Star Wars. Appreciate it. Brian Dorchek, Odin. Thank you. Timothy Trimble, Odin, you called the Saints game. I did. Didn't I? Timothy, I told you. Now, of course, I said it was going to be by 10. It was by 3. But, Timothy, tomorrow, or rather, because y'all don't go back till Wednesday, you're going to hear nothing but, oh my God, that call, though. That call ruined the game. Oh my God. There were blown calls throughout the entire game. I'm sorry, that's not an excuse. Especially since the Saints were given a fresh start to end the game, and they choked. And they couldn't do it. Let's at least be honest with ourselves. Oh, man. Soul Assassin, Odin, my uncle's a cop and has dealt with white supremacists many times before, says that the SJWs and news are making work harder for him and other cops doing their job nowadays, and that doesn't surprise me. Because now, not only are you dealing with these idiots, the white supremacists, but now you're also dealing with the Black Lives Matter, who are a political agent group. Now you're and many times they also have violent contingencies as well. You also now have the Antifa group, who is nothing but a domestic terrorist organization, no matter what anyone tries to spin it as. Oh, Antifa, that's anti-fascist. They're good people. No, they're not. Mr. Director of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. They're terrorists. They're domestic terrorists. We have the footage. It's a Trap says, my Lord Odin, do you want to do a playthrough of Old Republic with me? We could live stream once a week. Contact me. I might not be able to do once a week, but I would definitely be up for doing at least a stream, trying to play through it. I am in a mood. You are right, Steph. You're absolutely right about that, because this hits close to home for me. Pete says, during last Christmas, Jews had blown up Christians with a bomb in Syria. They ignored it. If a man disagrees with a woman on Twitter, it's evil. Wait, what? Jews had blown up Christians in Syria? Nah, that doesn't sound right to me, man. I don't know what you're trying to say there, Pete. Lord Arnold, remember to hit that like button for hashtag OdinCock. Yes, Lord Arnold. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, man. Welcome. Brian Torchak. Odin, check out your Twitter. I just sent you a video of liberals attacking a vet. All right. I will check that out later. Iron says, Odin, basically nowadays, there's no such thing as seeing both sides of the story, both positively and negatively, respectively. No, I agree. There are no two sides anymore. It's either this or you're against us. And that goes for all sides involved. Like, seriously, that goes for all sides involved. But there's different ways that you can approach it. Like, for example, if you like The Last Jedi, there's a way that you can approach The Phantom Menace without getting attacked. Because guess what? We don't just attack anyone that likes The Phantom Menace, or anyone that liked The Last Jedi. The only time that we ever go after somebody is if they are just being a total asshat. For example, if they're a Ryan Johnson calling the entire group, racist man babies. Well, then, yeah, you're probably going to get some mockery on Twitter for that. We're not going to attack you. We're not going to put your personal information out there. Let's see. Oh, man, there's so many comments. This is insane. Patty Maduff says, I wish it was still 12 years ago when all this stupid NPC idiocy barely existed. I agree. Will Gentry says, Tim Pool actually did a video today talking about how there is a media crisis in America right now. He talks about how they work, or how they don't work, I should say. It's actually scary. No, it's terrifying. Because it's not left or right. It's all of them. It's all the above. Any major corporation that runs and controls a media source is going to, unfortunately, go to views over actual truth any day of the week. Rogue Baron. But the Chiefs. Yeah, Rogue Baron. I did not call that one. I thought it was going to be Rams Chiefs. Somehow the Patriots pulled it out, and I think that just goes to the fact, because some people are going to try and say, oh my gosh, it was totally, biased against them. The refs were in it for them. But there's really no proof of that. Like, some people say, well, how come all the challenges went to the Patriots' way? Well, when you actually look to the footage, I mean, that's pretty much the evidence that we have. Like, so, and I'm not a Patriots defender either. I wanted the Chiefs. I was going to watch a Rams-Chiefs Super Bowl. I'm not going to watch Super Bowl because I don't care about the Patriots. I just don't like them. I just don't care for them. I think I'm just tired of seeing them in the postseason. But at the end of the day, I don't think anyone can deny the fact that Brady has shown himself to be a awesome postseason quarterback. I don't think anyone can deny that at this point. Jagan says, Odin, the Black Hebrews started it and called the elder their leader and told them don't touch him or they will hurt them. Those people need to be banned from that area. They are in Stagoria. No, seriously, and I think that they probably should be investigated, because I would not be surprised if they've done criminal things in the past. And also, it's just, I don't even want to call them a Black Hebrew, because they are not. I'm sorry, like they are not of the Abrahamic faith if that is the way that they are going to act. Like, let's just be honest here. It's like saying the Westboro Baptist Church are Christians. No, they're not. They're a small family of crazy people. Oh, Lordy. Proper Jeremy says, Monty Python the Holy Grail would have been better if I'd watched the movie for myself beforehand. Didn't really understand the lessons, and I think that's why the film felt underwhelming. Well, that's just the thing. Like, they kept talking about lessons. Like, Moise kept talking about lessons, and I was like, what? I was like, what are you talking about? What lessons are you talking about? I didn't understand that either, to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, always watch a movie by yourself, unless you're going to see The Room at a midnight showing, because then it's fun. Tim Pool, the Timcast. I believe so. I just started following him today on Twitter, so I'm pretty sure that's the same person. Super says, Gen Z is supposed to be 15% conservative, mostly since World War II. It's a reaction to millennials. They're purposely reveling against the media and mainstream culture. Yeah, I mean, and honestly, it's interesting, because I think even though there is this crazy leftist movement that's going on in America right now, I think we are seeing the opposite happen too. I think we are seeing a strong conservative, or at least a, to get away from politics for a second, I think a strong traditionalist understanding of not only what it means to be a family, not only what it means to be a good person, but also how to treat others. And I think that is something that's coming back in reaction to and opposition to this nonsense that we're seeing in the media right now. Yeah, man, this stream's been crazy. All right, so the stream has jumped on me again. Demogeny, what's going on, Demogeny? Long time no see. Mirror Jeremy says, Odin is great up, not better than the Geek Man. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Soul Assassin, Odin, do you think there will ever be a resurgence of sword and sandal movies? I think there's always going to be a time for a resurgence of any genre. I mean, you've kind of seen that recently with Westerns, for example. And I think that every different genre will go through its heyday and will go through its comeback. So it's possible. It's possible. Maybe not like an entire movement, but I think that we'll definitely I think we've already seen movies like that. Maybe just not as many as you would hope to see. Bleak Sand says, do you think these kids will be vindicated? Yes. At the end of the day, these kids are going to have so much support because, yeah, there's these crazy people that are going to go after him. But at the end of the day, also, there's enough people, not just conservatives, there's enough common sense people that still live in this world who are almost apolitical at this point, who are tired of all of it, who are going to look to these kids and say, you know what? You showed, and it really depends on how the kids react too. You know, they can come out and say, you know what? You showed class during a very dark time. Have a scholarship. Or, hey, I saw what you did, and you reacted as you should. You know, have an internship. I think that in the end, they will be vindicated. I think in the end that they will, even if they're not vindicated in the media, which again, I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I think at some point it's going to be enough where they're going to be fine. I honestly do think that. And it's because we are lucky enough to have a country where most people are good. Most people, regardless of political affiliation, are good, honest people. And it's unfortunate that the crazies are the ones that are the loudest, that are making things seem a lot worse than they are. Zach Gregg, humiliation is the best weapon. Yep. It's very true. Soul Assassin, Odin, you called the game. Can you give the lotto numbers? I'll split it with you and the Valkyries. Yeah, I'm not as good at those types of things. I'll give you some numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. William says, oh no, Odin talking about fake football. Yeah, seriously, it's awful. Stephen Walton agreed, I'm sick of the Patriots. I think a lot of people are, except for Patriots fans. Hyman says, I don't mean to sound emotional, but are you going to be sad when our past generation is gone and now this future is in a fearful position in the majority of snowflakes? Yeah, I mean, obviously, because my parents are a part of this generation that you're talking about, and many other people that I know. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be sad to see the generation fade, because they're like the last generation of hard workers. I mean, that's not to say that we don't have hard workers in our modern day and age, but it is indeed going to be an end to an era. And it's really sad because unfortunately our colleges, and this is the reason why I think now more than ever we need to have an honest discussion about college. Not everyone needs to go to college. Like, depending on what you want to do with your life, not everyone needs a college education. And if you do need a college education, if you're going to be taking out loans, you better make damn sure that the degree you're getting is going to be able to support you. Because otherwise, you're just creating more debt. You're just creating more reliance on the government. And that is never a good place to be. Never a good place to be at all. Super says, the Patriots are in again. Damn, that team gets on my nerves. Yep, seriously. Blake Hemlow, follow me on Twitter. Maybe, dude. I don't just follow everybody on Twitter. Don't just follow everybody on Twitter. Let's say you're relatively new. I don't really know you that well. So, let's see. Jenkins85 says, Kathy Griffin is an insane woman, and Lady Gaga said Pence and his wife were the worst representation of Christianity for being against LGBTQ. I mean, Lady Gaga kind of has to say that because she's in the media. She's in the news lately. She's probably going to win or get nominated at least for an Oscar. She kind of has to say those things at this point. I don't think she's the worst offender when it comes to the SJWs in the media and in Hollywood, but she's obviously definitely having to go along with it. But at the end of the day, I think we all of us can read, all of us can listen, and all of us know if we look into their past that they are definitely not hateful of LGBTQ. I mean, just because, guys, sorry, spoiler alert, I'm a Catholic, and so therefore I have specific views that the Catholic Church holds on this particular issue. But even then, not a single part of that is hatred. I don't hate anybody. I don't want to force anyone to do anything. That is not what the faith says. Eric Coleman says, I can take different political views, but if you're a Last Jedi fan, I do think you should be placed in a wood chipper. I'm only capable of so much tolerance. Super says, Odin, part of the problem is the current gen is way too emotional. They internalize and personalize politics. They feel and believe more than think about ideas. And actually, Super, you make a great point. And I think also you basically hit the nail on the head as to why the sorry to get on a serious topic, but that's the reason why you see the age, the oldest age that we have, or the average age of us when we die has dropped for the first time. And the reason why is because you've seen an increase of drug use and also suicides. And those two things are very much tied to how you feel. Those two things are very much tied to internalizing feelings. So I think you've hit the nail on the head there. And it's a really sad and scary time because so many people are feeling this way and are internalizing everything and thinking to themselves, and again, Trump derangement syndrome, we kind of joke about it, but in the end, what it is, it's people who are getting so upset that they have to call and email a teacher saying, I can't come in, I'm too upset because someone won an election. That is the world that we live in now, is that people, and this is not just people making an excuse, these are people who actually feel this. It's sad and it's scary, but people do feel this, feel these things. And it's all part of what you're saying right there. And that's the reason why we see such a dangerous thing and a dangerous trend going on in our society right now. Mayor Jeremy says, I wonder what John Suega thinks about Brexit. Oh, I'm sure he's got a very specific view. Oh, Baron, should I eat soup in a can, ramen, or ham sandwich for dinner tonight? Ramen. James Clark says, the rant is on at 9 Eastern Standard Time. You're great. Thank you. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. Dion says, every time Odin, yes, he does. He keeps track every time. Super says, additionally, when it comes to millennials, especially those in college, they've been taught to be willfully ignorant, and I don't even think a lot of them are conscious of it at this point. No, you're actually, willfully ignorant, I think you've put it best. And no, they don't. They don't realize, they don't comprehend for a second that they are complicit in anything. And it's really sad. It is really, really sad. Alrighty, what we got here? All right, got to you. Stephen Walton, how old are you? I apologize if this is a personal question. Not at all. I am 30 years old. We actually celebrated my birthday on a stream, so I'm 30 years old. 3-0. Proper Jeremy says, I'd like to propose a live stream watch party of The Room. If you haven't already had one, would you like to participate? It'll be a weekend so you can join. Maybe Proper. I'm kind of hoping that the poll that World Class BS is running ends up choosing The Room, because if they do, I kind of want to see if I can get my way in there, because I would love to hang out with them. But I'll keep you posted. Timothy says, I hate award shows like the Emmys and Oscars because it's about money and not the true talent. No, you're exactly right. They buy their awards. It is no longer about talent. That's why Emmys, I would say Grammys probably the most, have lost any and all credibility, because there used to be a certain number of Grammys back in the day, and now there's a Grammy for not only every genre, but every subgenre and almost every subgenre now too. And so now the Grammys have lost almost entirely any meaning whatsoever. The Emmys are going that way, and the Oscars have been going that way for a very long time now. And you're exactly right, man. Timothy says, it's the ones who throw the biggest parties who win. Yep. Yes, indeed. Soul Assassin, at the end of the day, we can all agree that Westboro Baptist Church is full of crap. I'm trying not to cuss since you don't. Well, thank you, Soul Assassin. Appreciate it. And yes, they are totally full of crap. They are not Christians. Don Hudson, Wednesday Raven Awards, get hyped. Damn right, guys. Yeah, so if you are tired of the Oscars, tired of award shows, and let's say maybe you used to watch the Oscars, you're kind of interested in the Oscars, well, go ahead and join us in boycotting them. And on that night, instead, come and join us here on the Odin's Movie Vlog channel, where we ourselves will have the first ever annual Wednesday Raven Awards. That's right. Odin has its own award show, and it is for film of 2018. And we got a lot of really fun categories. And the Valkyrie, Heimdall are going to post a link to it. Every time that you say, vote, nominate for the Wednesday Raven Awards, click on that link. And I'll bring you to a page where you can fill out any category. You do not have to answer every category. If you only saw one movie, you can put that movie in. All those positive categories. There's some negative categories too. So that's why it's a little bit fun, because it's kind of like the Razzies and Oscars all mixed into one. It's great. But anyway, if you want to participate, click on the link. Fill out a ballot. Join us. Super says, also, kids are encouraged to go to college without knowing what they want to do. Liberal arts and 99% of majors ending in studies are trash. They don't make make you any money. Well, yeah, I did communications. I did communications and media studies with a concentration in film, specifically film criticism. So I definitely understand. And let's just be honest. I got that degree. I sought that program because it was the easiest. Because at 18 to 20 years old, you are lazy. You are lazy, which is why, to be perfectly honest, I don't think anyone should be ready to go to college until they're like 20 or 21. Because at least at that time, you'll be more serious about your education. Because guess what? If you have to pay for your education, if you have to actually pay your way and get a job and go after a degree that's going to actually be able to help you pay off your loans, and you know that, and you're aware of that because you're not 18 and you're not an idiot, you might actually not choose gender studies or women's studies or queer theory or any of these other nonsense nonsense majors that are not going to pay you a dime and are just going to make you dumber in the process. So Pete says, proper leftists are actually not that bad. These leftists are crazy fruitcakes that redefine the narrative of what the left actually is. No, exactly right. Again, when we talk about left-right, we obviously have traditional right, traditional left. And obviously, I think there's a cohesiveness there because, yeah, we just disagree and we can be friends. But the far left, far right, that's where we see a lot of, and it's not even the far right anymore. It's just this alt-right group, really, that has really, I think, taken the reins here and taken control of the craziness on one side of the political aisle. So, yeah. Lord Arnold, thank you very much again for that. I appreciate you so much. You are awesome. And I am very, very far behind. As always, Patrick Duff says, what is George Lucas doing today, and what does he actually think of Disney Star Wars? That's a good question. I honestly don't know. I think he's not really giving a whole lot of interviews. I think any word that he has given has been positive because he kind of has to, at least at this point. So, yeah, I don't honestly know. Entertainment Hacker's probably counting those $4 billion that he got. Entertainment Hacker says, can't hear a word Odin is saying. Real crap, public school, internet. I'm sure it's good talk. Aw, Entertainment Hacker, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Tina says, watch the Hulu and Netflix documentaries on the Fyre Festival scam to see how many of the willfully ignorant, wealthy millennials got sucked into that mess. Such a train wreck. Really? I don't even know what that is. That sounds interesting. Hyperman says, despite any crap that comes in our life, as my mama once told me, life can still be as beautiful like a box of chocolates. I agree. Jenkins75. Odin, I was confused about the news story at first because it was confusing until I saw a 20-minute video similar to the live stream. I learned the whole story. Those Twitter celebs and SJWs are crap. Yeah, seriously. You don't just take clips. Watch the whole video to get the whole context of what happened, because then everything makes a lot more sense, and then you start to see, oh, all of these people on Twitter and in the media are lying through their teeth, or they're being willfully ignorant and have not watched the actual video themselves, and so they sound like even bigger idiots. Demogenai says, side note, I've been doing a lot of openings, and that's why I've been gone for a while. Also brought a new trimmer, messed up my beard, and have to start over. Oh, Demogenai, no. Oh, that's so sad. Let's see. Super says, modern lefties are kind of like reverse racists. Instead of feeling pride, they feel shame and project the suffering they think others feel onto themselves. That's why TDS exists, in my opinion. Well, getting into that, I mean, think about it for a second. The people they say care about the marginalized, the ones who are in the margins, the ones who are being discriminated against. How do they treat them? They don't try and help them get off their feet and then allow them the ability to move forward. No, they instead say, you can't do this without us, so therefore here is a hand, and oh no, you can't let go of my hand. The hand you always have to have, because you can't do this by yourself. And so they have this false perception of, we care about you, vote for us. But in reality they say, we know that you're vulnerable and we want you to stay vulnerable. We'll give you just enough, give you a taste. Just a little bit of a taste, so that way you'll like us, but we're never actually going to help you. And that's what, the food stamp nonsense and all this other nonsense has really created a class of people of all races and backgrounds, by the way, who are so reliant on the government that they are essentially brainwashed and forced to follow this political, it's sad. It's so sad because when you actually talk to these people and try to figure out what do they actually think and believe on their own, it doesn't line up to the people that they're putting in office. MegaJetty1, thank you for the $2 super chat. Freezing my butt off at home, but I'm enduring. I'm loving this cold weather, man. This cold weather is fantastic. I love cold. Cold. Greta says, does River have a shirt on? What does it say? Yes, so both my babies, they've both got sweaters on, and it says let it snow, because that's the only one that we have that fits. And by fits, I mean it looks so tiny but hilarious on Willow, and River just looks freaking cute. Proper Jeremy says, in the World Class Masters poll, but it may not win. Everyone go vote. It's pinned to their Twitter page. P.S. I was actually on the World Class Masters on their last live stream. Go check it out. I saw that, Proper. You did a terrible job. Outpost Dyer, what is going on? What's up, bruv? What is up, bruv? How's it going? Let's see. Super says, at least you stuck with it and graduated. Still respectable. Seriously, again, I stuck with it, and at the end of the day, even though I chose it because it was easy, I also chose it because I love movies. So it's one of those things where it's like I did it because I love it, but also too because it didn't require me to write a thesis, and it didn't require me to do much else that I don't, because I hate writing in general, and it had just the right amount of writing since it was me writing about movies to be able to keep it interested. So it was easier, but it also was something I liked. I didn't just do it because it was easy. I did it, for both reasons. But I'm not going to deny that I did not choose it partially because of the fact that it was easy. See, Super says, Odin, and one of the worst parts of this radical left is that Dems and traditional lefties in the media and politics are terrified of them, so they're continuing to let them run amok and divide. Yep, you're right. You are so right. Steph, I saw that video. Thank you very much for posting it, guys. Go check out the John Talks video, because John Talks is a great guy. He's awesome. He's fantastic. Lord Arnold says, no problem, brother. You deserve every thumbs up I can get you. Well, Lord Arnold, thank you, man. I appreciate that. You're awesome. Love you. Tina says, I'd never heard of the Fire Festival scam until the documentaries dropped about 3 days ago. Happened a year or so ago. One dude is in federal prison right now. See, that's the thing. I thought it was going to be about something that happened years ago, but I didn't know it was like last year or 2 years ago. That's interesting. All right. Cannot wait for that. Thank you once again, Lord Arnold. Blake Hemlow, I will always have your back, even though I'm a small guy who stands at 5'3". Well, thank you. Entertainment Hacker says, I'm going to send Odin something from Japan. Thanks. Really, Entertainment Hacker? Man, don't feel the need to. Don't feel an obligation to, because obviously I know that the postage on that is probably going to be crazy. But thank you. I appreciate that. Jacob75 says, what hurts the most is they don't care if you're a minor. They act like teenagers and spoiled brats. We need to hold our spoiled brats. We need to hold them accountable. Twitter and YouTube also sucks to not delete these crazy fools. No, I agree. It's so interesting that they'll delete certain channels with certain political ideologies so quickly, but when it comes to their verified checkmark lefties, they will give them a pass after pass after pass, and it's ridiculous. Again, the guy that said this kid has a punchable face, if a conservative had said that, if anyone who is famous, who is also on the right, had said that, they would have gotten a strike. It would have been taken down immediately. No questions asked. But that's the world we live in, and it's sad. That's why I really wish there was a viable alternative to all of these different media platforms. Really, I wish there was a YouTube alternative. I really do. I really do. But unfortunately, there isn't. And Twitter, yeah, there's Gab, but Gab has been shut down, and Gab is just not as good as Twitter is, and not everyone's on there either, so it sucks. Let's see, Mayor Jeremy says, ponder this thought. I know that some textbooks are somewhat from the early 2000s and maybe 2002, but just think of what the next textbook edition would be. Oh my god, dude. The next seeing that most textbooks are made by these Hollywood elite liberal types, it's going to be awful. Like the Black Lives Matter movement is going to be praised as heroic. You're already starting to see this in some books now where they're talking about the Occupy Wall Street movement as this huge thing that's great and wonderful, when in reality, people got raped, people got robbed. It was awful. It was awful. And yet, what did you hear nonstop about the Tea Party? Oh my god, it's a bunch of racists and they're so violent. Please give me a list of all the violent things that happened done by Tea Party people versus the number of violent things and reports that happened from Occupy Wall Street. It is going to be night and day. But guess which one got more coverage? Oh yeah, that's right. The one where nothing bad happened versus the one that everything bad happened. But of course, again, wearing a hat that has words on it is now a crime and is worse than covering a story about rape that happened during the Occupy Wall Street movement. It's disgusting. Super says, how cold is it where you're at? Right now it is about, let's see, 48 degrees. About 48 degrees at this point in time. In fact, let's see. Did anyone contact me? Got a lot of Twitters. Oh my god, so many Twitters. Lord, y'all blowing up the Twitter right now. But it's it's warming up tomorrow, I think, and then it's going to be another cold front. It's going to be down in the 30s again. It's going to be awesome. Pete972 says, George Lucas hates Disney Story Wars. You can tell from the miles away. Yeah, I agree. Greta says, I also have a film degree, but don't actually need it. I'm right there with you, Greta. Right there with you. Shahan, what's up, dude? They get you hooked on help. You can't survive without help, and if you try and make a little bit of money, then they cut you off help, and you die for then you have illegals getting $3,500 a month. Yeah, I mean, the whole system is just messed up. The whole system. Rogue Baron says, computer science has very little writing, but I think that I have a thesis. Oh, no. Perth Comics, what's going on, bruv? I work at it for university, but never studied at one. Students live in an echo chamber detached from reality. That is true. That is a true statement. And it is so sad. Eric Coleman says, you love the cold. We can switch places. It's negative 28 degrees where I live. It's miserable. That sounds amazing. I would love that. Hypern, a question to not be taken seriously. What if Captain America was the president? Good God. If you meant the actual Captain America, like the comic book Captain America, fantastic. You mean Chris Evans? Hell no. No, thank you. Patricia, what's going on, Patricia? Hey, Odin, what do you think about the 11-year-old boy dancing in a New York gay club? I saw that. And, yeah, there was I think that was, you're talking about the one that there was a picture taken with him and a naked man. Yeah, I think that child needs to be taken out of the home into Child Protective Services because that is child abuse. Not only allowing and promoting that kid to dress and drag, not only is that psychologically damaging to that child, but also being taken a picture of and being around someone who is naked, that is disturbing. Yeah, those parents have now given away any sense of responsibility that they have because they have none, and that child needs help. That child needs help. All because of his parents. Rogue Baron says, my English book was full of BS. Like everywhere, every paper had to be on race, gender, and class. Thank goodness I only had 2 semesters of it. Yeah, I mean, and I honestly, because obviously I'm not, I don't teach English. So I don't really know what we are teaching as far as that's concerned. Everything I can tell is that we're sticking pretty much to the classics. So that's good to know. But I can tell you just from things that we've had to do as like faculty, there is a lot of woke stuff that's even starting to creep into the Catholic school system, unfortunately. Because it unfortunately, when it comes to, I can't say. That would get me in trouble, so I'm not going to say it. Super says, lucky it's 17 degrees outside my house right now. Super, you're the lucky one. Super, no, you're the lucky one. Outpost Dyer, bro, you need to follow me on Twitter. Well, Outpost Dyer, I've known you much longer, and you're also a very, very big support of the channel, so message me, man, and I will follow you. Otherwise, I'm going to forget. Will Gentry says, Tim Pool got his break on Occupy Wall Street. He says the protesters physically assaulted him when he tried to film them doing bad things. They only wanted him to show police brutality. Wow. Okay. I got you, Will. Yeah. I don't know where he got his, I didn't know that's where he got his start, but that makes a lot of sense. I mean, yeah. I mean, you can't just show one side of it. Even though all they wanted to show was police brutality and, oh my God, this movement's so great. But then when it came again to the Tea Party movement, it was like, oh my God, they're all a bunch of racist violence, and then there was really no examples that they could show. There was violence, but it was because of protesters getting violent. So it's just so interesting. It really is. They're such hypocrites. Donald Hudson says, it's -6 here in Michigan. Yes. That sounds delicious. That cold weather sounds delicious. Jagan says, I imagine you will make a 10-minute rant video tomorrow calling out the MSN on their BS. It will be more rageful than the Star Wars Theory rant video. Not on the main channel. And the only reason why is because if this was something to do with a movie, then or something like in film, I would definitely cover it. Because the Star Wars Theory still was in a film realm universe. So that's the reason why I covered it. This one, I will probably end up cutting the rant that I did early in the stream and putting that onto the Welcome to Asgard channel, which if you've not followed yet, that's where I'm putting things like vlogs. I'm posting these live streams in their full entirety up there as well. And I'm also going to probably start doing some non-film reviews and non-film commentary on the culture in general over there as well. So that's actually, I've already done a video on this topic, but yeah, so that's going to be where you're going to, anything that's non-film related and covering a news topic is going to be on that channel from now on, just because I want to make sure there's a divide between the two. Proper Jeremy says, I agree, we don't need Chris Evans as president. Can you ever even imagine an actor as our president? What a huge disaster that would be. Good God, it'd be awful. The character, Hyperin, that would be awesome if it was the character. Will Gentry says, the kid who dancing in the nightclub is Desmond is amazing, but the kid with the naked guy was a kid called Lactasia, a different drag kid. It's a horrifying trend. It's regressive support. Yep. You're exactly right. In both cases, take the kid out of the home and get that kid some help. Because if you're trying to tell me that a 10-year-old or 11-year-old can understand gender and understand, even though I'm not this gender, I can pretend to be, and you think that they fully understand that, you don't understand anything. It's so disturbing. It really is. It's so disturbing. Roe Baron says, yeah, I was homeschooled, so that was all taken care of. But once you get to university, it goes downhill. Where I'm at is way less PC than I was back near New York where I grew up. Yeah, I mean, and that's the reason why I'm very tempted to make sure of that. I mean, if I find out that any nonsense is being taught, eventually when I have kids, when me and Frey have kids, if I find out that they're being taught that kind of stuff, I will not have much of a I will have a very short fuse for pulling the trigger and getting them out, because I don't want my kid getting indoctrinated like that. Adam Shahan says, it is so cold that you can't breathe. -10. Nice. Let's see. Metero? People literally have no love for their craft anymore. They have to be told what to think now. I have made a lot of enemies for that, and I won't change that anymore. Well, thank you, Maris, for joining the channel. And yeah, it is really sad to see that happen for sure, man. Mir Jeremy says, wait, Odin called out Star Wars too? That video, was it? Yeah, the Star Wars theory nonsense, I called that out. Let's see. Greta says Ronald Reagan was an actor. That's true. Let's see. Lord Arnold says, if you are to become Odincock, you must be prepared to match your supreme leader, Dictor Van Doomcock, and stream for at least 4 hours. The title is yours for the taking, bro. Yeah, dude. Doomcock is insane as far as streaming goes. Like, the fact that he can do 4 6-hour streams is insane. I will do one of those streams once we hit 10K. Once we hit 10K, I'm going to be planning a 4 to 5 hour stream. And obviously, we'll do it in advance. We'll plan it in advance, and it'll have, like, we'll do a movie watch at some point. I would love to play some games at some point with people watching and stuff like that. It'd be a lot of fun. Blake says, -4 Celsius. Nice. Phil says, so how about that Captain Marvel? Oh, Lord. Hyman says, you know what I think needs to be concentrated instead of biased politics? Unsolved homicide cases. There's so many of them that I find it ridiculous how they're still covered up. I think Tina could probably give you a lot of thoughts on that very topic. Kalen, keeper of the Jeremys, at my brother's college, one of his classes was teaching them that gender is just used for oppression. You see, yeah, the school I went to it's supposed to be a Catholic university, a Jesuit university, when in reality it's just a university. And now they've got the same crap. Like, there was already the beginnings of that crap. So when I was in college, and I also not only did I get a degree in communications, but I also got a minor in theology, and eventually I got a master's degree in theology. Woohoo! But anyway, so with that pursuit of the minor degree, though, one of the classes that I had to take, because at Fordham, it was my university. I have no problem calling them out by name because they're stupid. They basically make you take certain core classes, and they'd make you take a multiculturalism class, essentially, and a pluralism class is what they call it. So basically, they make you take a class that's guaranteed to be woke in some way, one way or the other. So I decided to be like, you know what? I'm going to do a class that takes care of both theology and also this really crappy core class as well. So I took a class called Religion and Feminism. Ladies and gentlemen, Odin took a feminism course. No lie. I took a feminism course. I was one of 4 guys in the room. I was one of 2 people, me and one other girl, who wasn't insane. And it was one of the worst experiences of my life. And it's not because of the teacher. The teacher was great. I will give full support to that teacher because the teacher taught the course. She said, this is, and basically it was interesting because it covered all the different ways of feminism, which I never knew before. And I was like, oh, I like this first, second wave stuff. That's kind of cool. It's the third wave and beyond that's insane. So I got to learn that. But also, on top of that, I was able to learn about how different religions have engaged within feminism as well. So it was an interesting course. The reason why I hated it, though, is because I had to go to class with all of the stupid liberal progressives who every class would bring everything on a tangent to talk about something stupid. And about, oh, yeah, the patriarchy of society is just, it's just so crazy. Like, that's the people I had to take class with. And it sucked. It sucked. Arrow the K, Daddy's home. What's going on? Where did you go, Odin? I'm right here. I didn't go anywhere. Oh, I already said it. So, see, Super says, for me, encouraging a kid is one thing. Like, if these boys showed an independent interest in makeup, then okay, let them do it at home maybe. Dragon Club, you cannot be that naive. Meter says, like one of the things of my craft myself, I've gotten my 3DS to be seen on my computer wirelessly and a PS4 controller to work with that. Of course, I have my swords. That's awesome. That's really cool. Trimble says, do you think there should be a limit to comic book movies? If you mean as far as how many are made, yes. I think there's definitely a limit to that. If you mean for things that can be made into a movie, I would say no. I would say that you can't make $100 million movie out of a small story. No. But you could make a smaller movie, smaller budget film out of any superhero story, I would say. But yeah, I definitely think that there's definitely going to be a limit at some point. There's going to be a point when those films no longer make money. Soul Assassin, I'm going to have my own award show, and it's going to have blackjack and hookers. On second thought, forget the whole thing. I'm going to watch the Odin Awards. Well, thank you, Soul Assassin. Rogue Baron says, I have a few friends at Fordham. It takes the train in every day. Yeah, it gets more and more PC. So sad. No, it really is. And that's why every time they send me anything, like as far as like, give money to the school, I'm like, no. The fact that they took, no, this is no lie. We used to have crosses in every classroom, and the university caved to someone who demanded they get taken down because they were offensive. Add on top of that, the seal of the school was in every classroom. And then someone got offended because there was a cross in the seal for the school. And so they took that down too. And it was so interesting because we had one amazing professor, God rest her soul. Unfortunately, she's passed away since I had her as professor. But she would tell us all the history of the school. And she would always, the greatest thing ever was she said, when this school was Catholic. Because she had a date of when the school stopped being a Catholic institution. Basically, it comes to the fact there was a time when the university decided to start taking in public money, government money, and that's when kind of everything fell apart. And so it was just interesting, though, to hear her perspective of it as someone who had been there at the school teaching for an extended period of time. Greta says, religion and feminism, I can't even imagine that. Oh, my God. So the class, again, was actually kind of interesting. But the people in the class were typical feminazis, and they were awful. Reverend Jeremy, what's going on? So that's why it's called Hell Froze Over when Odin took a feminist class. Oh, yes, indeed. Super says, I had to take a diversity elective. Luckily, my professor was a normie, but the book was boring and gross. It tried to speak of female oppression, but the author was a woman with a PhD. Women are oppressed! Just ignore how much I'm making and the fact that I'm a professor and that I can teach classes and mold minds. Equality now. We've had equality for a while now, actually. Pete says, call me funny, but I consider the Meg to be one of the mascots of your channel because it's the first film I would hear you talk about a lot with Star Wars. It's a megalodon. It's a megalodon. It's because the Meg is hilarious. The Meg is a freaking funny movie. Hybrid, sorry if this sounds like a stupid question. I just have more trust gaining knowledge from you. Can you please explain toxic masculinity to me? Sorry, just being honest. I hardly understand it myself because it's nonsensical. It doesn't make sense. So, from what I can gather, there is this mindset that exists that believes and preaches that being a man is privileged. It's a privileged class. And therefore, when you're ignorant of that and don't believe that there's that privilege, that is proof of your privilege. That is proof of your privilege. And so, with that in mind, then, anytime that you engage in that type of behavior, it is said that you are toxic because you are ignorant and you're spreading it and you're just letting everyone see, look, yeah, I'm a man. And that's why they consider it to be toxic masculinity. Doesn't make any sense to me either. But also, MegaJetty1. Sorry, I missed your last super chat. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Let Anna and Rookie Critic know that I emailed them. I will do the very best that I can, but they are busy, busy people. Let's see. Nico Blue, I can't imagine you with a pink bleached beard. Pfft, that definitely didn't happen. Blake says, Disney is going to regret making poor financial decisions for their business, that's for sure. Yep, that is definitely true. Don Hudson says, remember when Spielberg was a good director? Damn, man, it's been so long. It's been so long. Mirror Jeremy, Fordham used to be a great school. Yep, yes, indeed. And there were still great teachers there. There were great teachers there. The one who I'm talking about who passed away, she was one of the best. No doubt in my mind. She almost made me take a double major in history because that's how much I loved her classes. Super says, wait, a Christian school removed its crucifixes? My God. Yep, a Catholic school. Or a Catholic school. Let's see, Rogue Baron. My parents went to Seton Hall, but it's become so PC I could not ever consider it. No, I'm the same way. But no, actually, funny thing, it's not even technically it's not a Catholic school anymore. It's a school in the Catholic tradition. And there is actually a distinction. And that's why I love the teacher, because she told us about how there is a difference and when that difference started at that university. So yeah, it's no longer a Catholic school. Even though they promote it as the Catholic school and a Catholic school, it technically on paper isn't. And yeah, I wish I had known that before going, because one of the reasons why I went is for that. And I felt so isolated and alone. Yes, I made some really close friends when I was up there, but the fact that there was like 5 people that I was really close to in a school of hundreds and thousands, and almost everyone else I didn't like, it was, yeah. Rogue Baron, my parents went to see, okay, got one. Proper Jeremy says to everyone, yes, I'm well aware Reagan was a former actor. It's like I need sarcasm. Thank you, Lord Arnold, once again. Odin cock. Let's see. Shahan says, when religion is changed due to politics, we all lose. That's true. Super. Also, who could possibly be triggered by a cross? I mean, it's the shape of a fancy plus sign. I hate to be the one to say it, but have you ever been crucified? I mean, what the hell? No, I agree. I absolutely agree. That's why the whole thing is stupid. That's why it's so ridiculous, and that's why I will never give a dime to that university. Ever. Patrick Maduff says, soon NPCs will start attacking each other and their NPC culture will collapse. I hope so. Will Gentry, it's almost 2:30 and way past my bedtime. Catch you later. Will Gentry, you have a good night. I am almost going to wrap up the stream myself because we've been going for about an hour and 41 minutes. I'll go for a few minutes longer. Hyperprint, thanks for the explanation, brother. No problem, bruv. No problem, bruv. Soul Assassin, I'd rather be a toxic male than a beta loser. Pete says, Spielberg should have directed a Star Wars movie a long time ago. Yeah, not today. I would not want him to do that today. Trimble says, could you imagine if someone got offended by the cross and actually brought it to board, got it removed? See, Tim, we're a little bit more protected since we're at the high school level and since we're run by a religious order. It's a little bit different when you're at college, unfortunately. But man, yeah, if that ever happened, I would be like, you chose to come to a Catholic institution. And that's what they should say at university level, but they are more reliant on public funds, unfortunately, than we are. Super says, from what I understand, toxic masculinity is essentially the name given to inherent male behaviors like competitiveness and aggression they view as toxic. It's dumb, wrong, and I feel bad for the guys. No, exactly. That's right, too. That's like when you say, be a man, man up, grow some balls. That's toxic masculinity to them. Mirrored, Walter White is a bad person. Yes, he is. Dion says, yep, any school takes public funds has to conform to a secular ideology one way or the other. That is true. Jagan says, are you done with the MSM completely? Also, the celeb influence on this SJW force. I think the celebrity influence is definitely there. I think the agenda influences actors more so than the other way around, to be honest. And yeah, obviously, are there certain times that I might have to watch? Like, let's say there's a huge event that happens, and the only way I can watch it is, or hear coverage of what's going on, is I need to turn on the news. Well, then, yeah. Local media, I would say, is actually, for the most part, okay. Because local media usually tends to try and stick to the facts, because they only come on for about an hour. They're not 24-hour news cycles, and so, therefore, they are more focused on producing quality content than anything else. So, yeah, but when I'm talking about the mainstream media, what I mean most of all is like major newspapers, major news outlets like the CNNs, MSNBCs, Fox News, etc. So for them, I'm pretty much done. The only time that I might ever make an exception is if there's an election. Until there's a viable alternative. And nowadays, there's a lot of YouTube channels and alternate medias like Daily Wires and groups like that that are doing their own streams for elections. And so now it's going to be very easy. I would say for the next election, I think for 2020, I probably won't have to watch like Fox News, for example, because I'll have an alternate media source. Stephen Walton says, this has been a really good live stream. I think I'm an Odin fan. Well, Stephen Walton, thank you, man. I appreciate it. And thank you for joining, and hope that you enjoyed everything. Jagan75 says, Odin, that's what I'm talking about, CNN and those other ones. Yeah, I'm pretty much done with those groups, for sure. Super says, because according to feminists, the only men worthy of being deemed attractive or worthy are passive, pushover, softy soy boys. No one wants to grow up like that. And also, to be honest, there's nothing wrong with being sensitive. There's nothing wrong with not being the super athletic alpha male. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's why where these crazy lefties and these crazy SJWs get it wrong is by saying that gender is fluid. Gender is not fluid. You're male or female, period. Now, obviously, there are certain, but that's why they're called disorders, where someone can be born with a actual genetic disorder, an actual chromosomal disorder. Now, obviously, we had to take those case by case. But as far as like on the whole, 99.99% of people, there's male or female. That's it. Gender is not fluid. Gender roles, however, are fluid. Not all men need to be the breadwinner, for example. Not all men have to be buff. Don't have, there's not one way to be a man. There's not one way to be a woman either. And so if they were talking about gender roles, that would be an entirely different discussion, because I agree with that. I understand that. But where they go wrong is they say, oh, well, because there's different gender roles, that means that there must be different genders. And that means that we can identify ourselves as however the hell we want. No. You can choose any gender role that you want, that fits you, that suits you. Now, again, not everyone's going to be called to be the breadwinner of a family. Some men might be better caretakers and homemakers than women. Because guess what? Not all men and women are the same. We all have our different, desires and passions. But the problem is that it's become so crazy that now it's all about, again, gender. It's like, no, gender roles, not gender. Let's just be honest here. Let's see. Blake says, I had to agree with Jeremy for using gamers on his most recent video about the Ghostbusters 2016 movie on how it was so bad and didn't make a profit. Well, it didn't make a profit. It got terrible reviews, didn't make any money, and so, yeah, I would want to forget about it, too, if I was a studio. Tim says, fan for life. Well, thanks, Tim. I appreciate it, man. Go do some homework. Patrick Duff says, I trust PU News. PewDiePie is the best source of news. Gloria Berger is definitely the most trustworthy name in news. Go check out Gloria on the PewDiePie channel. God. I'm so glad that I was given a reason to watch his videos again, because he went through a period where I just kind of wasn't into his content, but now all the stuff he's doing now is just beautiful. It's fantastic, and I love it. Mikasa Ackerman, welcome to the channel. Hi, Bryn. Just in case if Amazon does ruin Lord of the Rings, my essential plan would be this: 8 or 10 seasons of the Silmarillion, one about Numenor, Blue Wizards, and the East Run, Witch King Dynasty, and Arnor. That'd be interesting. I don't know a lot of those things. But anyway, yes, dogs in the background, I see. Greta says, oh, Odin, you were talking. Too distracted by cuteness. I know, I'm sorry. They are very cute. River has just laid back down, and she's being very, very cute. And now Willow is saying hi. Hi, Willow. You're very cute in your sweater. Zen Waters, what's going on? Indeed, I've always wanted to be a stay-at-home dad. It fits my disposition and skill set. I'm the same way. I would be comfortable as a stay-at-home dad. And I don't feel emasculated or any less man or anything like that. Because there are different roles that anyone from any gender can, Let's see. Perth Comic says, do you ever let Freya take out the garbage? She doesn't like to, so I normally take it out. But I'm also kind of lazy about it too. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not the kind of person where I'm going to make her do anything. So we kind of try and split roles, I would say. Because at the end of the day, a marriage is a team effort. And I think that to try and be the best team player is what any person should try and do in any given relationship. If you try and expect too much of somebody, it's going to crack. It's going to break. But if you try and split the roles and you try and make it as even as possible, I think that's going to lead to a better relationship overall. Tina, before you go, can I make a quick announcement to the group about the Willow movie watch? Yes, you may. Appos Dyer, for my gender role, identify as an original trilogy Star Wars fan. Is that allowed? Not sure, asking for a friend. Yes, that is indeed allowed. No question. Meg71, thank you for the $2 super chat. Should my blue Shogun be like Bond, getting girls? Question mark? I don't quite understand what you're saying, but sure. Why not? Meter says, speaking of masculinity, I recently made a Velociraptor meme with a holding a Gillette razor as a joke. That's awesome. That's great. Super. Exactly. You're completely right. I have been a tomboy my entire life, and I'm okay with that. I wish we could just go back to using the type of language again. No, seriously. But now tomboy is considered sexist. It's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. It was never intended to be, and therefore it's still not. Oh, man. Yes, subscribe to PewDiePie, guys. Frank loves dogs. Yes, indeed. Oh, man. Hyphen says, this might sound dumb, but Is Odin really your real name? Sorry, I feel ashamed not knowing who you truly are. It's not. I don't share my real name. It's not hard to find. I don't share my real name on the channel. So that is not my real name. It is not my middle name or anything like that. It's a nickname that I was given when I was in high school. And when as I mentioned before, with my origin story, this whole show, everything that I do on this channel originally started out as a podcast. I did a podcast with some friends, and then eventually did my own podcast on movies, and then transitioned over to YouTube. I transitioned to YouTube, and that's that's the history, and it's all history at this point, and it's absolutely amazing. The fact that 70 people are still watching the stream is insane, and you're all amazing people. So thank you. Let's see, Mikasa Eggerman, you just that's right, you just subbed. He says been subbed for a while, just wanted to hear Odin pronounce my name. Mikasa Ackerman. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Mirror Jeremy says, favorite Lord of the Rings movie, mine's Two Towers. Two Towers actually is my favorite too because of the battles that happen in the Two Towers. I love the first one. The third one actually might be the weakest overall. I love it because it's the completion of the trilogy. And that's why I watched all three back to back to back, because it's great as a complete story. But yeah, I would say the middle one. Frank, did my friends like their treats? Yes, they do. They love the pig ears. We're trying to hold back on it because we want to use them for special occasions when they really need it. But they're sleeping tonight, so they did not need any. But thank you again, Frank. Tina, oh, you're a good husband. Well, I'm not perfect. Yeah, and I never ever think that anything I say or do is to try and make me feel or seem like I am some kind of perfect person, because I'm not. I'm a very flawed person. I'm not a perfect husband. I've failed and fallen on a variety of occasions. Just simply not listening, not being open. Again, I am a flawed individual, and we all are. And I think the important thing is to recognize that we are flawed, but also to recognize what those flaws are, because only then can we try and do something about it. So, yeah. But thank you. I appreciate that. Frank, did you share the color pens with Mrs. Odin? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. She has them, and she's trying to figure out what to do with them. I let her have the reds and the greens, too. So, let's see. Blop, 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 blop. Blake, I'm enjoying myself on your live stream tonight. Well, thank you, Blake. I appreciate that. Meg81, thank you again for the $2 super chat. Thanks, Blue Shogun, single, timid dude, 2 ladies, man. What? Meg81, I don't understand you. I don't understand what you're trying to say to me. Hyra says, you split the roles and make it unbreakable. Get it? That's a great Unbreakable Universe joke. I love that. J75, Odin, is your wife, if your wife tells your child something first and you tell something after, does he or she have to do after what they told something? I know you don't do, but some men believe it. Well, I don't have kids yet. We don't have kids yet, so that is not a problem. Somebody says, Rumpelstiltskin. That's my real name. No! You figured me out! Super says, next Pew's video, CNN did an oopsie! Can't wait for the glorious, brilliant commentary. Dude, I hope PewDiePie covers that story, because I would love for him just to shred them to pieces. Dion says, Odin speaks the truth after being married for nearly 33 this 31st of January. It's a team effort. You both have to work at it. Well, Dion, congratulations, man. Early congratulations to you on that 33-year anniversary. That's awesome, Dion. And guys, go check out Dion's channel. If you like planes, he flies them. And it's really cool to see. Meter says, by the way, would you mind sharing that meme? I do stuff to try and make people laugh, and you may find it hilarious too. Yeah. Send it to me on a direct message, because if you tweet it at me, it'll probably get lost in translation. And so yeah. Sorry, I had to respond to the wife. But yeah, go ahead and message to me. Rogue Baron says, Aragorn only looks good when his hair is wet. Hyprin, you literally summarized your origin story the best way compared to Ray yourself. No, I'm nothing like Ray. I'm nothing like Ray. How dare you? How dare you do that? Tina says, I love the Two Towers too. The theatrical cut of Return of the King was a bit weak. I agree. Glad they enjoyed them, says Frank. Me too. Eric Coleman, as far as gender, I consider myself pre-Kardashian Bruce Jenner. Mikasa says, sure, Odin doesn't watch AOT, so... What? Super says, would never think you try to brag or inflate your own ego. You're good people, my friend, and I think you've got the right idea. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Frank, I'm glad my care package made everyone happy. No, seriously, it made me so happy. I'm still eating the chocolate. It's delicious. Soul Assassin, the future is going to be like Demolition Man, all happy and cussing machines everywhere. Erla K, is Freya a teacher as well? No, she is not. Hybrid says, I do think Two Towers took the biggest risk of introducing one of the most iconic characters in cinema history, which was motion captured. Yeah, it's true. Blake Hamlow, I have a superpower. It's called I can make women have crushes on me unexpectedly. Sure. Now, Hudson, I love being a stay-at-home dad. It's quality time well spent. Damn right, man. Damn right. And also, tell Trin I say hi. Rogue Baron says, great, you jinxed him. Now he won't last till 33. Yes, he will. Hybrid says, I found it amazing how Fellowship was basically the Empire Strikes Back or Lord of the Rings, though it's my personal point of view. Okay, I get you. Caitlin says, Attack on Titan. It's an anime. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I do not watch Attack on Titan. I just haven't watched it yet. It's not that I refuse to. Zen Waters says, The Two Towers bugged me because of its inconsistency with the source material, not just changes, but changes that don't work in the setting. Yeah, and again, I can understand why maybe as a purist it would have issues, but as someone who read the books, or rather my dad read the books to me as a kid, who had kind of forgotten many aspects of the story, I was able to enjoy the world that was built. So I think it was a good adaptation. Mikasa says, just prove what I said. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. Thank you for subscribing. Mira Jeremy, Screen Rant dropped a video about the Star Wars problem, how Disney created a monster. Maybe some shows are turning. Well, they kind of have to at this point. It's kind of impossible for them to ignore the truth any longer about this. Yeah, they're going to start turning on a lot of things, just like they started to make excuses for Captain Marvel. Remember how they were like, oh, Captain Marvel's going to make so much money. Now they're like, oh, it was a bad idea for them to put it a month out from Endgame. Really? Donald Hudson says, Trin loves your shout-outs. Oh, I'm glad to hear it, Donald Hudson. What's up, Trin? How's it going? Alex Martinez, do you watch Game of Thrones? Damn right I do. Cannot wait for the final season. And I think, as sad as I am to see the show go, it's a logical conclusion. That's right, Alexander, if you're watching. Adam Shahan, Frank felt bad for Odin since he had not gotten any packages to his P.O. box. Now I feel like next time I go, I'm going to have like 1,000 packages. Because, guys, just so you know, if you want me to open anything on a show, like on a stream, please email me and say, hey, I'm not going to tell you what I sent, but just know that it's sent and that you might get it on this time or date. Because then if you want me to open it on a stream, I'll know that you want me to open it on a stream. Otherwise, I'm just going to open it because I'm impatient. Harper says, I haven't seen all the Dragon Ball series, so you are not alone, my friend. Yeah, seriously. I have so many things to catch up on. Jagan says, SJWs would get mad at you for not saying Happy MLK Day on your live stream. They'll say you hate black people. No, exactly right. And for me, the reason why I'm not going to say it too is because MLK Day has become a far cry from the man who it's named after. MLK would be ashamed of what is done in his name now. A man who said, I want to live in a country where my kids are judged based on the content of their character and not the color of their skin. The fact that we're still playing that identity politics game and the fact that we're still using race as a key identifying factor instead of a piece of the puzzle that makes up a individual person, he would be very disturbed by that. So that's the reason why I'm not going to say it, because I'm not going to support the day that was created in his name because they've bastardized it, unfortunately. Apos Dyer says, I totally recommend Attack on Titan. I mean, I've heard it from people, so it's on my radar. Super says, every person attempted to adapt a novel on screen should look to Peter Jackson in Lord of the Rings. What he managed to achieve is ridiculous. Yeah, no, seriously, I agree. Blake says, there's a care package coming to Odin from my business. It's a bundle of merchandise from my online store. Nice, Blake. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Soul Assassin, Odin, which Game of Thrones faction do you side with? Long live the King of the North. Definitely a Northerner, for sure, but also, at the end of the day, my dark horse would be Tyrion Lannister, because Tyrion is Tyrion is the one who should be running everything because he's the smartest. He is the smartest person for the job. Meg81, Blue Shogun is my superhero story I'm writing. He goes from a timid teen who doesn't know how to talk to girls to being a ladies' man who women line up to be with. Growth, not smut. Interesting. That's cool. Guys, I'm going to have to start wrapping up the stream. Joe Cook, what's going on? Super says, speaking of Game of Thrones, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely do you think not just Sansa, but all of Winterfell are to absolutely decimate Jon when he gets back? I don't think that's going to happen. They've kind of set that up, but I don't think it's going to happen. Patrick Duff says, have you watched the Percy Jackson movies, and if so, what do you think? I saw the first one, and it was okay. Didn't really love it. I don't really like young adult stuff. Hybrid, I hate to compare about who took the biggest risk, Francis Ford Coppola for Godfather or Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings trilogy. Biggest risk? I guess Peter Jackson, because I think he took, financially speaking, he took the biggest risk. Alex Wu, amen, Odin, MLK would be turning in his grave if he could only hear us, turn above. No, seriously, I think you're right, Alex Wu. Absolutely right. Frank, he is the smallest and smallest just like me. Oh, Frank. Super says, Odin, I'm also looking forward to John's reunion with Bran. Bran lacks of social skills are going to make John's parentage reveal hilarious. Yes. Oh my God, John, you're right. Oh, Super, you're so right about John. Jagan says, you a brave soldier. Identity politics is super big now and was shown Saturday was awful. And MLK would have been ashamed about the white Catholics kids and the social media behind it. No, I agree. I absolutely agree. The fact that someone is being taken down because of the color of their skin, which is exactly what's happening here, is exactly what he fought against. Shenglong, thank you for the $10 super chat, man. Appreciate it. Always appreciate yours. Tina says, announce real quick to our stream before it ends. Thank you, Tina. Alex Martinez, who's your favorite Game of Thrones character? Tyrion Lannister. Boom, you got it. That's mine too. Lord Arnold, thank you very much. Metered says, how would I message you that meme? Twitter or email. Jagan75, I meant the story, not the kids. They were the brave ones. Yes. So it's 2 hours of live Odin. I know, seriously, 2 hours, man. One of the longest we had in a bit other than the movie streams. Hyperin, God bless you, Odin. God bless you. Frank, you have a good one. I see my friend behind you. Yes. Hi, my name is Willow. Hello, everybody. That's Willow, and she's a cutie. Tina, thank you very much for that announcement. Super. Just back away slowly and forget everything that happened on the boat. Okay, I think Peter Jackson had the biggest risk because he filmed 3 films. Yeah, 3 films at the same time, and also the financial investment as well. Timothy, thank you very much, man. I appreciate you for sticking around. And for everyone that donated, thank you. For all my patrons, let me go ahead and shout you out one more time. So I'll give a huge shout out to A Great Jedi, Adam Shawhan, Dave Bob, Lisa32, Donald Hudson, Edward Coleman, Enrique Evangelista, Frank the Tank and the Shawhan Weeder Dog Clan, Greta Zenner, Harold Francis, Hunka Chunka Funka Monkey, Inflamed Wood, Intertrap Productions, Jason Clark, Jeffrey Toon, Laura Story, Matthew Kadish, Mr. Peabody, The Outpost Dyer, Mr. Peabody's Evil Twin, Perpetual Punster, Proper Jeremy, The DJG Show, Those Two Ball Guys, Tina B, and Wolf King Lounge. Whew. Okay, gotta get my voice back. Big Steve, you're late. Greta got a new vid up. Please check it out, guys. Go check out Greta's channel. Just dropped a new video. She's awesome. She is a mod here, and she is awesome. So anyway, guys, you are all amazing and beautiful people. Thank you so much for watching. It's been so much fun to talk about all these different topics with you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being supportive. Thank you for, just being you and for, not putting on fronts. I always appreciate that, and I hope to continue to do the same for you guys. But anyway, you've been awesome. I'm losing my voice. I feel like I've done so much damage to my voice tonight, and also I have to get up, unfortunately, early tomorrow because even though my kids are off from school, I have to still go into work to go to a conference. However, the conference should be interesting because it's about faith and reason. We've got physicists coming down, and it should be really cool. But anyway, thank you guys so much. I'm seeing all the good nights in the chat. You are all amazing and beautiful people. Thank you. I love you guys so much. Continue to be awesome. Do not let any of this nonsense bring you down, because at the end of the day, the truth always wins out, and you guys are right there in it. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, God bless. Have a good one, guys.